Hail to the king, baby.
Hello, everybody. Unfortunately, P-Dubs was taking what we now affectionately called a dub, which means a nap in the middle of the afternoon. Woke up to see the messages that I was now available to do a show and told everybody we weren't doing a show. When I asked him, hey, well, let's do a show anyways, he said, no, I have a bunch of products I have to review, or I can't retire like I'm planning December 31st. So P-Dubs was out. Nostalgia is actually in jail for trying to smuggle bananas across the border. And Carl is, in fact, being Detroit Love in Detroit right now. His wife is having the time of her life. So I went out and I found the greatest podcasters in the home arcade retro gaming space.
They weren't available.
And they said no.
They said no.
I got my buddies Fox and Justin here, and tonight we're gonna do the second episode, because we did do an episode before, of the Ultra Game Room Dudes. Now,
the Ultra Game Room Dudes! Let's go!
If you guys don't remember, this was I like to dick around with people and push people's buttons. P-Dubs, me and Nostalgia, when we went to Ontario, Ottawa, a couple of years ago, we made a joke up that we were like, we should come out and like do the secret thing, the Ultra Game Room Dudes, and like just keep announcing it, mentioning it during Super Game Room Dudes. P-Dubs will go mad that people are copying him. Like, he'll get nuts. And he did. And Nostalgia used to go into the chat and type it in all the time. And P-Dubs would be like, who the hell are these Ultra Game Room Dudes? I'm going to kill them. And then we debuted it on my show. He was so mad.
He was so mad.
Why be super when you can be ultra?
That's right.
That's right.
Ultra is just better, right?
I told my wife originally I was going to rename the show the Below Average Game Room Dudes, but then that was a lot of work to come up with a new thumbnail and stuff. So
we have no time for that.
No.
We're movers and shakers, Mike.
Movers and shakers. Hello, people in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Again, I apologize. I tried everything I could to make Super Game Room Dudes happen tonight. Just wasn't happening. And I can't do the show by myself, so I decided, screw it. I'm going to do a show on my channel with some good people. So thank you very much, Fox and Justin, for making yourself available. I tried to get stuff I thought you'd be interested in talking about. I know you, Justin, you were looking at that vault thing this past week and saying, ooh, I've got feelings about this, the Stern Vault. Have you seen that yet?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, I used to talk about pinball in our Vacation Alliance.
Yeah.
But you guys suck. So now I just talked to B about it. So I've already had conversations with B about it. And I didn't burden you guys with the pinball nonsense, you know?
No. It's not that we have problems talking about pinball. It's just some of your conversations aren't very inclusive. Like when you tell us about your tournaments and stuff, we're like, way to go. But like, we can't celebrate that with you. We're not there. You know what I mean?
Okay, sounds good. Next time you like all of a sudden was like, I went into a meeting and and got the deal closed. I'll be like, I wasn't there for the meeting in Canada. Who cares? Who cares?
Pinball.
Fox went to the Dominican Republic and did an amazing job down there. I wasn't there. Who cares?
He don't care.
The Dominican Republic now has a new government. Viva la Revolution. Fox, good job again.
Justice for all.
You and your inclusiveness.
And 19K Fox, we'll talk about Unico too. I didn't put it on the thumbnail, but we'll talk about it. Okay, buddy?
I have nothing else to talk about.
I wasn't there, so I have nothing to comment about.
I'll tell you the truth, Justin. One of the reasons I don't talk about pinball as much and I'm not as excited is I'm not in a space
Because
to
you're
buy
about to
anymore,
sell
and I
your
can't play
Godzilla
them.
pinball machine? Is that
No,
right?
I'm not selling that. That's not going anywhere.
Okay.
No. But like, I can't buy anymore. I don't have the funds, and also
you.
I can't play it here. So like, you're like, oh man, I got to play X game last night, and I'm like, we have 5 pinball machines on the island. We have.
I've been
Friday
telling you to
Pinball.
move to the United
I know.
States, but you just won't listen.
You should.
I'm going to be annexed soon, anyways. What does it matter?
That's true. I mean, why just move when you could you're kicked out? right?
Annexed.
No.
great.
It's very possible if you sneak in right now, you might get grandfathered in. You know, they might just make you a citizen.
Isn't
Never
Canada
know.
going to become the United States?
That's right. It's
anyway?
the 51st state anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
You got a great governor up there. You're fine.
No, we do not have a great governor. I don't
No,
talk
when
politics,
it
but I will
becomes
tell
the
you, I
51st
don't.
state,
I think it's
just the
time for a
governor.
change in Canada. Enough is enough,
Oh.
and it's time for a change.
Okay. Castro's
Okay.
son needs
All
to
right,
go.
can we talk about games?
Oh yeah, let's do that. So, anyways, what do you think of these tariffs, guys?
They're
Take the
great.
bait. Take the bait, Fox.
So tonight, guys, I'm drinking Bullet Bourbon. That's right.
Yeah, but that's the thing
Bullet
about the
bourbon.
tariffs. But Arcade One Up builds their stuff in Indonesia, so
Is that where they built it? I thought it was China.
some of it's
Some of them,
Indonesia. Yeah.
All right. So, first things first, let's talk about some of these topics we got tonight. I think the thing that probably in the home arcade community that's really been, the top of the conversation list this past week was the AtGames Black Out. Now, I'm by no means a scientist, so I wouldn't know this. Justin, I'm so happy that you agreed to be on tonight because you're actually super knowledgeable in this because you previously worked for Paramount Plus, right? Like you were doing the passwords for Paramount Plus.
The
Paramount someone
Plus
hacked the
password situation.
mainframe.
I honestly don't understand this at all.
Okay.
I've watched a lot of streams there. I mean, I can explain DNS and stuff like that. What I don't understand is why it would take so long to propagate. And I think James Hates Everything was tracking it and says that they're... So it's kind of like, I mean, there's all these analogies you can use. It's, hey, when you move, at least in the United States, I don't know if it's like this in Canada, right? You move
They're
to
not
a
allowed
new
to move.
You move to a new address, and so you go to the postal service and say, "Hey, I'm moving to a new address." So
Yeah.
if anyone sends information to me, actually send it over there. How long does that take the government to process? Like sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes a month, right? You got to get ahead of the game to fill out that form. But on the internet, it's a day turnaround for that type of stuff. So if your address is atgames.net and that needs to actually point to IP address 1, and you go, no, it actually should be 2, you could usually get it taken care of in a day. So why did it take so long for it to transfer? Maybe they were transferring the entire domain, not just the IP. I don't know. I've worked for a lot of different companies that we've had to manage that, and I've never seen an outage. I've never worked for a company that had an outage this large. In the industry, we call it like we want to have 4 nines. That means 99.9% uptime, which means you're allowed to have like a 5-minute outage for the entire year on your primary services. And 3 days is something like 98% uptime, which is not good. Not good for a company that has a connected system. I guess you can forgive them because they're new or something, but keep in mind, AtGames didn't they buy Gamefly? Gamefly is their engineering backend who's been in the industry for like 10 years, and I don't know. I have no clue why this happened. I could speculate, but I don't know. Like one of the speculations is they use contractors and they didn't pay the contractor, and the contractor had the key and he didn't pay the bill. Then they had to go find the person, be like, give it back to us. We're going to sue you. I mean, that's
A little bit of a wrinkle.
full on speculation. Like I'm not saying that's what happened, but it would explain the 3 days.
Yeah. So James Hates Everything says everything seems to have remained at the same DNS host. The zone was missing a bunch of missing domain entries, and it took 3 days to add them in.
So it's like, yeah, that's the weird thing. So what he's saying is they didn't go through the struggle of switching their entire provider. I don't know. It's like your phone gets disconnected and they were claiming they had to move to another cell phone carrier. Sure, transferring the phone number, it's going to take a while. But it's like, just pay your bill and your phone's activated again, you know? So he's saying all these records that say atgames.net, whatever, this address, their mail address, their back-end address, it got deleted. Somebody needs to go in there and say, oh, sorry, so this subdomain www.atgames.net needs to point to this IP address. Their API.atgames.net, that maybe their pinball machines point to, needs to go to that address. Just go fill out the form, press enter, and within 24 hours it should propagate.
Yeah, I don't understand.
I don't know.
I don't understand the science behind it. I also say kudos to James Hates Everything for taking the time to look into this like the way he did. Obviously, the first thing I want to say is, James, you need to get on Tinder or something and find like a girlfriend, because you had too much time on your hand, brother. But outside of that, we appreciate the work and effort you put into this to trying to find all this information, man.
Let me add one more thing to it.
Yeah.
So if you're planning some type of migration using this system, what you would typically do is first go update all those records, and you say, instead of saying, hey, I want you to your computers, I want all computers to check back with me every 24 hours. You could say, I want it to check back with me every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I'm about to make a change. So you go into the system and you change that and say, keep asking me what the information is every 5 minutes. If anyone looks at it, if it's been 5 minutes, go double check. And that's like free. Like, that doesn't cost anything, whatever. So if you're planning some type of migration, that's the first thing you do. And you wait a day or two. Now, every machine, every computer that's talking to you will double check the IP address every 5 minutes. Then you make your change, you'll have the least amount of outage. But I think James Hates Everything says all those records were deleted and they were still set to check every 24 hours. So they were screwing themselves, and clearly it wasn't planned. There was an accident.
Yeah.
Because if you were planning some migration, you would have done these procedures. Fox, you know what I'm talking about. It's exactly like the ice machines that you maintain.
Absolutely, in every way. I heard exactly what you said and understood it all completely. Why? Okay, I have a bank with a bank app. I'm notified, hey, we're going to do some maintenance, so we won't be available for a little, whatever, an evening, a few hours, a day, whatever. Is it AtGames pride that prevents them from doing that and say, hey, listen, we're going to have some system maintenance. We're going to shut down, you're not going to be able to play online. So just play offline. And then tomorrow at 9 a.m. or whatever, we'll be back online.
Yeah, that's if you are planning a maintenance where you're switching stuff around, you would make all this preparation. You would try to have the least amount of outage, let's say the 5-minute one, and maybe double it to 10 minutes. And you say, okay, cool. It's going to be on this night, the most inconvenient time for the customer, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Of course.
You go we have this downtime. You go, from 2 to 4, maybe even a wider window, like a 3-hour outage, even though it's a 5-minute operation. Yep.
Sure.
Something could go down, and no one would have known, right? That happens every day, constantly, all the time, all these different companies.
Sure.
And then we just gotta, it feels like there was a major incident.
Yeah, I don't. If this was a planned procedure, I think the intention was that no one would even notice they were, doing maintenance, and something went screwy. I can tell you, this stuff happens to even the best of operations. I've seen it in my own personal business when it comes to websites and stuff like that. And recently we had our websites update. And somehow I was in charge of our national websites, and they were attached to a credit card. That's how it auto renewed, that it expired, and nobody updated it. So we had 4 straight days where we had a number of our national websites down because of a canceled credit card. And sometimes you go through hoops where you have previous employees. Where I was taking over the file, I didn't have access to renew the credit card, and I had to go through a bunch of hoops to get that up. So, and I know how small things can happen to mitigate the issues and extend them longer than what they have. Back end stuff we never seen, but I thought AtGames did a pretty good job of constantly putting information out there, updating people. It's up again now. And obviously this was not planned because they had game releases that are now pushed back. So I know that last week we were supposed to get 2 new Zen games, the Wild West game and Sorcerer's Lair. They're going to be coming out, it looks like, December 23rd now. So that was pushed a week ahead. There were some online events that obviously got messed up. I'm wondering now if they don't take a look at changing their system where your games don't necessarily need to be connected to have the license, but can also be played without. Now, I say that, but that's not common when it comes to a lot of these. Like you buy the license, so you should be able to do that. But like, say, for example, you have Game Pass. Like, I have Game Pass. I download Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. It's on my system. I pay for it. But if the internet goes out, I can't play it.
Right.
But that's a subscription service. You are buying the licenses for these, so you should be able to play them while you're connected and while you're offline. So I'm wondering if it wouldn't be a good idea for them to look at some kind of model like that.
They have it. You can go offline, right? It's almost like, I think what you do, right? You go into the system and you say, I want these games to be offline, and it's now only going to run on that machine. And if you get a different machine, you're going to have to like push it back and be like, okay, it's not on this machine offline anymore. I'm guessing they do some type of like, if you go offline, you got a certificate that like, hey, your license for this machine is good for probably a year or something like that. But the problem is the outage happened and you have to be connected to transfer a game to offline capabilities.
Yeah.
So you're just kind of screwed. So now the community is probably starting to offline all of their games. But I wonder if you set your games to offline, disconnect it for a year, I bet it would stop. I bet it has an expiration.
So this became a big thing that everybody was talking about because obviously, a lot of people weren't able to play their games. A lot of people were concerned about updates, other things like that. But Stupid Fat Hobbit brings up a really good comment here. Once they announce their new games on Xmas Eve, everybody's going to forget about this. We'll just move on. Like, there'll be some people that it will linger with. Like, Fox is one of those right-wing conspiracy nuts. Like, this is something that's going to stick with him forever. But everybody else would be
behind
cool.
the comment. I thought, well, okay, but you have to consider the impact of those that haven't purchased yet. Have the plans to buy, structuring, all my purchases.
I wonder who he could be talking about.
It's weird, I know. But some of us have to plan for these purchases, so, and we've got other purchases ahead of this purchase, but it's in the queue. It's lined up. It's going to be purchased. And as we see these things, I start asking questions like, okay, do you have to be connected to the internet to play the tables?
Like Justin said, it depends on when you get your code. Like, you buy the table online or on your machine, and when it comes in, you can then choose, do I want this directly to the table or do I want to connect it to my account? If you choose it directly to your table, you don't need to be online to play. But if you connect it to your account, you do need to be online.
What is the downside of just connect everything to the table? What's the downside of that?
Then if you have multiple devices, you can't move from one to the other.
Gotcha.
So it's not a big deal for you unless
the Legends, if you had one, you couldn't swap over. And gotcha. Okay. But if you've got like a singular device, like I'm probably going to just go with the 4KP. As long as I download all my stuff or just say, hey, I want it on this device, I'm good.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
You should try it. You should get it, download all your games, and disconnect it from the internet.
I mean, that's usually how I do it anyway. Like, I get an iPad with a big memory, and I can just download, because I travel and international. Sometimes you don't have access to stuff, so I'll just download a bunch of stuff and it just stays there.
You just won't be contributing to the high score leaderboard, though.
That's okay. I think I'll be all right.
Oh,
see, the thing is, knowing your background, Fox, I'm surprised that you would even consider doing something and being connected. Like, don't you live in the middle of the woods? Like,
you were in New York like 3 weeks ago, right?
Well, I mean, I can neither confirm nor deny.
Poor Luigi's going to jail for what Fox did.
Listen, wrong place, wrong time, guy. I mean, you just got to be quicker than that.
I mean, go like this. Everyone can see it. It was really you, right?
Put your hoodie up, buddy.
Oh my God, it's him.
And I always flirt with the barista. That's such a calling card.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that it is a minor inconvenience, but for some people that are maybe on the fence, this could be something that causes them maybe not to just say, I'm not getting one, but maybe we'll just wait or something. So I think there is an impact. I mean, when you talk about online features with Arcade 1-Up, and maybe there's somebody that's really jazzed about that. Oh, I can't wait to get on. But then they hear, well, the lobbies are dead, or it's glitchy, there's no spectator, whatever. I was like, well, maybe I'm not going to make the purchase. So maybe for those that are, they're in it, they're dedicated, they got a huge library of tables, it's probably just a bump in the road. But for others, I mean, I don't know, you just got to consider the impact other people too, because I mean,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
that's a fair point. Yeah,
Yeah.
because like I'm an owner, I'm a user, so to me, like, it wasn't that big a deal. In fact, our power went out last night, so I couldn't have used it anyway. So to me, but for the people considering buying something like this, this sneaks up a reliability issue that may, say
Sure.
people like, whoa, wait a minute, there's problems with this.
But don't worry, in 2 weeks everyone will forget.
That's right.
Yeah, and new owners too, because depending on what comes up, it's just like in 2 weeks, Star Wars, dun, 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 and then Fox is like,
don't play with me. Don't play with me. Don't mess with my emotions.
Dun, 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 dun,
Da, da, da.
But it's only the sequel trilogy.
No! Oh my god, that would be horrible.
P-dubs!
Patrick,
You're not retiring. You're never retiring.
Did you get your nap in?
Yeah, I did. What was it you said about the Neocade MD200?
What? The Neocade?
one
What the
said
hell is the
anything about
Neocade?
that.
You know, I'm glad you asked, Michael B. The Neocade MD200. It's a portable, handheld Sega Genesis mini drive. And if this is something you're interested in,
Sorry,
we
just got interrupted by an ad.
Make sure you watch out.
You can't
for
skip this one either.
channel tomorrow morning, 8:00 a.m. Eastern time. The review drops for the Neocade MD200. Thanks so much, guys.
I love the Zoom. It's almost as good as my Arcade 1-Up bag commercial.
This show now just became sponsored by whatever that was.
Actually, to tell you the truth, I think that's pretty cool. One of the, I had everything that you could think of retro gaming, but one thing I never ever got.
Nomad?
I never had a Nomad. Never had a Nomad. Always wanted one.
Never did either.
Yeah.
That thing looks sick. Yeah, looks good.
You pretend like you did have one,
Yes.
I was watching P-Dub's video today, his very first video.
Mhm.
It's so good.
I
The
don't
one
watch
where
his
have you seen it,
Yeah.
Fox?
I don't watch this stuff.
Dude, he did this really awesome, it's almost like Strange Brew level Star Wars mini movie that's 5 minutes long.
Yeah, that was a good one. That's one where he talks about
really
Arcade
good.
1-Up. Thank you for making Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh.
Yeah, there's this scene where it's the very first video he ever did, and I look back. There's a comment from me from 5 years ago. I'm like, this was the most horrible video I've ever seen. You should make these daily. It's so good. Oh wait, here he is.
Wait, not yet.
Another commercial.
I hope he just keeps coming in and just knocking these
Damn
comments
mid-roll
down.
ads.
That way he can retire on time.
He's violating FCC. When someone who owns a company comes in the chat and just starts talking about their product, there's FCC rules. There's you can't do that. You can't just all of a sudden advertise that your product is better than everyone else's without disclosing that you're about to do that. And I don't know. People just whatever.
Oh God, everybody's reaching for products now. Here we
So
go.
yeah, someone mentioned in the comments, where was it? Kin Hank Michael B edition. I get around. I'm also going to be doing a review in the next couple days of the JMocken Play Zone, another retro gaming hard drive. So keep an eye out for that.
I think it's so rude when you put up a comment and it blocks 19K Fox's face. You should switch me down there.
It
It's
keeps
just
them
every
wanting
time
more.
it blocks Fox's face, me and you become 60.39% more attractive, Justin.
All right,
guys.
keep doing it.
You guys are crazy.
Anyways, yeah, the blackout. I understand what Fox is saying, but
Hey, sorry. Shaky Bones. Is that your friend, Fox? Shaky Bones?
Shaky Bones.
Is that your
Come
friend?
back to Cleveland. No. She has a different name.
Okay.
I felt so
But
bad.
Shaky
for
Bones
her
is cool too.
felt so bad for her because we were there at the place and she was like, "Oh, Fox, it was so great to talk to you." Anyways, I'm gonna walk back to my location for 4 hours in the middle of the night.
Yeah, that was
Fox was like, "Yeah, good luck with that."
I remember P-Dubs felt so
We spent
bad.
a
He's
lot of
like,
time
we
together,
should give her a ride. And my defense is like, no.
it's inappropriate, guys. She's a female.
PW, what's happening, my brother?
What up, Dubs?
Not much. How are you?
Good, man.
P-Dubs is always copping me. He has a full beard now.
Someone hit the button there. I'm sorry. So, how's it going?
It's good, brother. Welcome to
Good,
the
man.
Ultra Game Room, dudes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
It's not as ultra now that you're here, but yeah.
I especially liked the beginning of the show where you were talking about Robotron 2084.
I don't
What is
remember talking
Robotron
about
in
that.
2084?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Justin, because these Robotron 2084
Huh.
t-shirts
That is really cool.
are available now on Amazon for $19.99, $9.99, $9.95. That's 19K Fox math for you, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
love that. That was so good, Fox.
And I'm also going to leave an affiliate link in Michael B. the Game Genie's live chat. For
Do
anyone
that.
who's
I
interested.
want
You should
that
do that,
shirt.
yeah.
What's the back look like? Is it just black?
Is
It's
this
just black.
the one Stock Jock
It's
sent
just
you?
black.
Can you get it in gray?
Yeah, you can pick whatever colors you want. Do me a favor, Fox, one more time, repeat the price for everybody.
Everybody, listen. These are going to be available for a limited time only. You got to get your orders in. The price and that now, right now, $19.99, $99, $9.95.
Good stuff. All right. Have a great show.
Thanks, buddy. He'll be back.
Hopefully.
You think he'll change shirts?
Yeah, every time he comes back, he'll have a different NFL shirt on to announce blitz during the
There's
Super
like-
Bowl.
It's like new clues.
Yeah.
Every yeah. Okay.
All right, so that's the AtGames outage. I understand where you're coming from, Fox, but I think it's kind of a nothing burger. I don't really think it's that big of a deal. It sucks for some people. It will be nice to see AtGames do something as a thank you to, say something like, sorry this happened. I think that would be a good idea for them to do something like that.
Yeah,
makes
like
some
a
sense.
coupon or something. right?
I am really glad that AtGames turned their servers back on for the pinballs because I was this close to starting a GoFundMe to recoup the cost of my pinball machine. All I needed was like, I'm gonna ask for $2,000, but really all I need is like $1,500, right? Because
Well, you want to give yourself a cushion, right?
Yeah.
But I was so close. I was like, man, if they don't turn the servers back on soon, I'm gonna have a paperweight here. I'm gonna have to go to the community and get them to,
Absolutely.
get them to pay for that.
I think that's
So-
the right thing to do. I
Yeah.
think it's makes sense.
I'm actually, this is a good time to bring this up. I am going to be running a GoFundMe to recoup the cost of my iconic arcade control panel I bought. So, guys, keep an eye out for my $50 GoFundMe.
Wow. Makes sense. And I want to go fund your GoFundMe. So my GoFundMe is going to be $2,050. That's the target. That's the goal, guys. Help me, help them, help you.
Fun fact, $2 super chat from my buddy Stringer Films here. I'm wearing a shirt, or am I? Even when Stringer's fully dressed, no underwear.
I figured it
Makes
would be
sense.
funny if I just popped on and just pimped products and left. I thought that'd be great.
That
but,
does amuse me greatly.
Sure.
But I think
Good
it would
stuff.
get old pretty quick because
You know what never gets old? Telling people you've bamboozled them when they give you super chats.
You have been
Gotcha.
bamboozled.
you.
You should have said it one more time at the very end of your episode. You
Wrap the
wanted
whole thing
to,
up. Put a bow
and I
on
thought
it.
you were going to say goodbye and be like, "You've been bamboozled," but you didn't do it.
I know. I failed.
Missed
Always
opportunity.
left them hanging, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my only comment on that. They're back online now. We've got our table packs coming up pretty soon. But if they could do something just as a gesture of goodwill, I think that'd really smooth things over with the community after the outage.
Well, speaking of old, I'm glad you mentioned that because you know what never gets old? Playing your Sega Genesis cartridges on the Neocade MD
Oh my God.
200. Review drops
But-
tomorrow at 8 a.m.
Patrick,
What's
isn't
the
that just
emulation
a
like,
nomad?
Patrick?
Huh?
What's the emulation like? Is it because I'm assuming it's the same as like the Retron 5. So
Yeah,
the
it
games
just-
go
it-
in,
it-
they just
it
rip
ju-
it, and then
Yeah, it dumps the ROM and you just play it that way. It's not like any kind of FPGA type emulation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's crap. But I don't know. They sent me a bunch of their products. This is the first one that I opened and tested and filmed some stuff for. And I mean, it's okay. I'm just having fun tonight. Calm down, shills. I'm having fun. We'll see. You'll have to see my review. It's kind of funny. I looked at like my past like 4 product reviews I've done in a row. I've had like 4 in a row where I've been like, this product is shit. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be nice to review something that makes me happy. Everyone's going to think I'm a negative Nancy
I
with
hear
all
ya.
the, negative reviews I've been giving, but I haven't reviewed something that truly thrilled me in a while.
And I think
You know what I mean?
that's just something that is overlooked. All the drudgery we have to go through reviewing products that don't make us happy. But you know what does make me happy? The Brick. That's right. Buy 2 retro. Take a chance on the Brick. Buy 2 retro. The video is going to be coming out very soon on the 19K5 channel. Subscribe to learn more.
Yeah. Yeah, I just honestly, Zero Cool. I just popped in just to say hi real quick. I didn't turn on the whole setup, but now you guys have sucked me in. You guys are so addicting. Console
Come on,
Kids,
buddy.
Fox, Speed. No, I can't stay. I can't
Come
stay.
on,
No one else,
you can't stay.
because
Why?
then no one else gets a chance to talk when I'm on, Mike. I mean,
That's not true. We're
Yeah,
all
so-
adults here. We all have reasonably sized penises. It's not like Super Game Room dudes with nostalgia.
We're all among equals here.
We're peers.
I like this. Review the movie The Thing. It's a sure thing. I love that. That just sounds perfect. So there you go.
Ooh, you know what? I this is something I keep going back and forth with. I love my Steam Deck OLED. Love it. But I keep looking at the ROG Ally, and it keeps going on sale for $5.99 in Canada. However, that ROG Ally X is right there. I wish there was some kind of good deal on that, because one of the downsides is to the Steam Deck is I can't play my Xbox Live Game Pass stuff on it. So
The good thing about P-Dubs being here is I will share MG's comments on the screen, because Michael
get that off there. You know, he is lovely when you talk to him in the Arcades Anonymous Discord chat, but on screen he's a real bear, man. Like he's a downer.
So when I talked to him and I heard his voice for the first time, guys, where do you think MG is from? You guys have seen MG in the chats. Where do you think he's from, right? He sounds
UK.
like he's like from Des Moines, Iowa, the way he writes in the chat. You know what I mean?
Let me guess. He's from Southern Kentucky.
I heard his voice. The first time I heard his voice, I thought he was trolling me. Full on British accent.
Oh,
Told you.
British.
MG
Yeah,
is a
full
car
on.
manufacturer.
I'm talking worse than Rob Kelso. Worse than Rob Kelso. I mean, it's full on thick British accent. And I was like, is that your real voice? He's like, yeah. I was like, you don't type that way in the live chats. He's like, what am I supposed to type? Tea and crumpets in the live chats?
Yeah.
And I was like, yes.
MG. I want to know, MG, do you drive an MG? Is that your
I feel
favorite car
catfish.
manufacturer?
I feel catfish
The
by
other
MG.
thing, you know why he's so grumpy all the time in our chats? We don't talk about Marmite.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, well, obviously you're not up on your UK lifestyles.
I was faking it.
Yeah, MG's good people, Brooklyn Menace. I agree. So are you too, brother. Anyways, back on track here now. So really that's, all we want to talk about with the Blackout with AtGames. I want to move on now.
What, 30 minutes on the blackout.
I know.
That's
But this is Super Game Room dudes, kind of.
Wait.
Like we just
I
say
thought this was
stupid things.
Ultra Game Room, dude.
This is the Ultra Game Room dudes.
Ultra mega.
Yeah, this video is not an hour and 18 minutes. It's an hour and 80 minutes.
Hell yeah.
Marmite is not Australian, MG.
Do you know what I spent an hour and 80 minutes doing, which technically would be 2 hours and 20 minutes in Justin world?
What's that?
You know what I spent an hour and 80 minutes doing today?
What's that?
Playing the Neocade
Hey!
200 for my product review. Make sure you guys check it out tomorrow.
Evidently,
8
an
a.m.
hour and 80 minutes is all you need to review a product. It's pretty good.
All right, so moving on now, let's talk about the Stern Vault. So Stern announced some Vault titles. I was heartbroken to see Elvira included in that.
Oh,
But there was some other interesting ones in there. Deadpool Pro. So Dubs, I know that's one you were looking at getting for a long time. That's now out of production.
We can't talk about this. We
Why?
can't.
This
Because
is the Disney Vault? Is this
Because I was watching this podcast show called Pinball Not For Everyone.
It's the most inclusive pinball
so
show I've ever seen.
exclusive.
Yeah, and because of their lack of inclusivity, I am now turned away from pinball. Now I'm selling all my pinball machines because
Completely
of that
turned off
podcast
from it.
show. I can't even look at them. Fox,
I get
I'll
it.
stay
You
away.
don't want it to be for everybody, so you want nothing to do with it. You're too selfish and want it only to
you
yourself.
say the show
then
is
you would talk
advertised that the pinball is for everyone, but the pinball is not for everyone, is what they're trying to tell you.
All right.
It's subtext.
I'm just
To
kidding.
read
Just-
between the lines.
Right.
I'm just kidding. I caught the replay of the last episode you did with
What?
me.
There's
think you
something
guys
wrong
are-
with that man.
People, every time I see him, he's on Instagram pulling
No.
up his shorts to try to show you his
No.
lad. And
Listen,
he's
the
writing all
dude is
these texts to
consistent.
us.
It's fine.
He stopped talking to me because recently I just responded like, what did I say?
Yeah.
So, anyways, I do want to get back on track with this. I know about Justin's non-inclusive
Can I
podcast.
hijack what your thought again? I'm just
Yes,
saying.
go ahead.
All jokes aside, I caught the replay of B Kong and Justin Console Kit's show from the other day, and I thought it was really, really good. You guys are really starting to gel together, stuff like that. I like the fact that you did the interactive polling with the audience. Thought that was a nice little trick.
Yeah,
Look
you're gonna
forward to-
steal it. I know.
Look forward to stealing that on the next episode of Multicade
I
Mondays.
almost
This
didn't
Monday.
do it. I almost didn't do it because I'm
And-
like, P-Dubs is gonna freaking steal this.
Oh, it's
Because
just for
always
fun.
does.
No,
Do it. Just do it.
But
When are
I
you
have a
doing your Home
feeling-
Arcade Awards, Dubs?
I have a feeling that it might end up being podcast of the year in 2025. We're at the beginning, folks. We're at the beginning. It might win the Dubby in the 2025
Do you know
W
why?
Awards.
It's
There we go.
because P-Dubs
For
is retiring
podcast
in
of the year.
2025, so he'll
Plus
be a
there being-
judge. Not
He's making
yes.
room for.
Plus,
Yeah, that's right.
there won't be any P-Dubs anymore. There will be
That's
no
right.
competition,
No
right?
competition.
So podcast
It'll
of the
be
year
wide open.
guaranteed. But yeah, the Dubbies, the 2024 Dubbies, we're going to broadcast the first.
Wait, did
week
you
of
read the whole
January.
thing, Michael B?
Yeah, yeah. Some people don't
Great
have
one,
money and
Steps.
need to pay rent.
Great one,
Fair.
Steph.
Gotta pay the rent, folks.
Fair.
Priorities.
Yeah.
Priorities.
So we'll do the Dubbies the first week of January and celebrate all that was in the world of home arcades in 2024.
Yes.
Nicholas is a smart man. Godzilla is still king. I don't care what Console Kit says about Jaws. But Deadpool's gone. Elvira's gone. One that's kind of surprising is one that I know B Kong is going to be out having his guitar, doing his really sad solo tonight.
Everybody heard.
Foo Fighters was included in the vault. Are you surprised to see it
Wait a
go
minute,
so
they're just-
quickly?
Yeah. That was really interesting because so Jack Danger did that game just like less than 2 years ago.
Do we
And
know
s-
the criteria for being a vault game? Like, do they?
Yeah, if
Explain
it
that,
sucks,
or-
it goes in the vault.
So Foo Fighters blows. Gotcha.
I don't know if it blows. I was thinking through it. I listened to a couple people on the podcast. Pinball, I can't remember his name.
Pinball for some,
Pinball
For some.
for just some people.
for just some people.
Johnny Pinball. He's a good podcaster.
Yeah.
I think it's Johnny Pinball. And he was saying there's one thing. There's a lot of people freaking about the word vaulted, and they're like, oh, they changed the term of what vaulted means. And I was like, what are you talking about? So this is what I think about it. You can use a key to lock a lock, and you can use a key to unlock.
Open.
Right? You can open.
Yeah.
So you can close something, you can open something. So
Like the
that is
Disney
when you
movie.
have two different words to describe the action.
Yeah.
Well, when it comes to vaulted, it's one word that describes both actions of putting it in the vault and taking it out of the vault.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so they vaulted games, meaning they put games in the vault because, yes, they want that kind of Disney, it's in the vault concept.
But it'll be back. You
But
don't
it'll be
know.
back. And whenever
Yeah.
they come back out, they say that's a vaulted game, meaning it was in the vault and now it comes out.
No, so. And they'll give it a new designation, some FOMO. You got to get it.
Right.
Yeah. I understand.
I think they did
It's marketing.
the Foo Fighters. There's another reason why you would vault a game. That game is differently manufactured from all the other games, and so it kind of cramps the production line, and so they can set it aside for a while and optimize their production, and then bring it back later. Or like Foo Fighters could be like. They sold a ton to a whole bunch of Foo Fighters fans, and then just kind of like, it's good, like they're not selling a ton of them anymore. But that one's kept its value compared to some of the other games.
So what I didn't like seeing was both Elvira and Deadpool going in the
Yeah.
vault, because those are two that are in my like top 5 if I wanted to buy list, and it almost makes you want to just go buy them. But then
Well, that's-
again,
That's
Then
half
again-
why they do it.
but
That's
then
why they do it.
again, the
It could
theme
be.
I've been waiting for, Dungeons and Dragons, is coming out very soon, right, Justin? And
think so.
That might be a day one purchase for me, guys. I
You
might
didn't hear
spend 10
You
grand
didn't
on
hear
a
it
whim.
was canceled.
No. So I
They're
haven't
doing
listened to
Pokemon
it.
first.
Kaneda just dropped a video today. I haven't listened to it, but it's his title is D&D, then Kong, which implies if he's right, at least by the title, he's saying D&D will be at CES.
Oh, okay. I'm driving up.
But I don't
now.
know.
I wasn't going to
Listen
go,
to it.
but I'm going to go now. I'm going to drive up. Luckily, I'm that close to Vegas, baby.
Get your badge,
You
bro.
should just come anyway, bud.
I'd have
You
to
can
sleep
stay
up.
with us.
We
You
have
guys-
room.
Can I stay with you too
look,
if I buy a plane ticket?
So
Yes.
we'll
So-
definitely
so
run out
Fox-
of room.
all right,
but
full
whatever.
full transparency. Fox message calls me and he's like, "Hey, dude, you should come to CES. We're all going." And I was like, "Oh, I really don't want to go." And then Fox tells me, "But we got a 2-bedroom Airbnb, but there's like 5 guys going." And immediately I was like, "Fox, I'm out." Like I don't
Nah,
know what's
bro, come
happening
on.
there with the sleeping
Who
arrangements.
else is
Hey, listen.
going with you?
Don't question what's going on.
Whoa! Who's the 5 guys?
We have
got-
listen. We have a 3-bedroom.
Yeah.
Okay,
2.
right, and there's one. 3. It's a 3-bedroom, and originally there was 3, and I think we've got. Is Mason
And-
staying with us?
And they closed
A couple
one bedroom
days.
off.
Yeah. So
Not the
Mason's
full
going to stay
time.
with us for a couple days. So it's only just 4. It's 4 guys.
Anyways, I'm bringing this back up just so we can have clarity on this. I know Dubs wants to take it down because of his vanity and seeing himself large on screen. But Deadpool, Iron Maiden, Star Wars comic art, Avengers Infinity Quest, Elvira, Heartbreaking, and Foo Fighters. I see right there 2 of B Kong's pinball machines, Star Wars and Foo Fighters, are going to be vaulted.
Oh,
Can we
that's
agree
interesting.
that means
Price
that
is
he
gonna go
likes shitty pinball machines?
Well, I agree, but is this some kind of like? I mean,
No,
This is
but
gonna
keep in
cause
mind,
a
all
price-
of those games,
Are
those
excellent, yeah.
games, they produced this year.
Yeah.
They were on the production
what's-
line this year.
that's what's
Iron
weird.
Maiden, they made more this year. Deadpool, they made more this year. Elvira, they made more this year. Foo Fighters is on the production line. Star Wars, I think they're on the production line right now. And
Okay.
and there's probably a ton of them in warehouses. So they're like, we kind of have an overstock on these games.
right,
So let's just vault them for 2 years.
and then we'll
They'll
ramp
still
the
be
production on
available
other
for a
tables.
while. Yeah.
So, really quickly, I do want to say of that list, I have limited access. We have a Deadpool here. It's the only Stern, like modern pinball machine that you can play in Newfoundland right now. It's at the movie theater. They had a Guardians of the Galaxy, but I hate Guardians of the Galaxy Stern, so I'm glad that's gone. I've played Deadpool. I've played Iron Maiden a lot. I've never played Star Wars. I've played Avengers Infinity
Star Wars
Quest.
is fun.
I'm not that big on that, even though other people are. I love Elvira House of Horrors. I'm undecided on Foo Fighters. I kind of don't like it. But Elvira House of Horrors, Iron Maiden, and Deadpool are all fantastic, but have been around for a while.
Did you see they said there's some games that will never come out of the vault? That's on that list. Some may never come back.
Yeah,
I think I know which one it is.
What do you think it is? Comic art?
I think it's both Star Wars. I think they're done
Yeah.
with that Star Wars.
Yeah.
What the
hell is
Right, Kong? B, what do you think? They're
What up,
vaulting.
buddy?
They're
Start
vaulting
talking
the
real
Star
pinball,
Wars,
and here he
and they're
comes.
never
Here he
coming back,
comes.
right?
This is pinball and arcade for everyone, not pinball and arcade for some with money like me and Justin. There's no
Yeah.
room for you here.
No room. Well, I just heard that you said Elvira was a great game, and I had to come and argue that.
Why do you
What?
have
That
such
game's
shit opinions?
fun.
Why are all your takes shit takes?
You just don't like low scorers.
That's true. Games that have low scoring are they don't make you feel good, and Elvira doesn't make you feel good.
Just
except
add
for
a
in your
zero in
pants.
your head. That's
Yeah.
what I do.
Yeah.
I play dialed in all the time. Just add 2 zeros.
So
Yeah.
let me get this straight. You think Elvira doesn't make you feel good, but you love
Except in your
Foo
pants.
Fighters.
She does that. Yes.
Yeah,
Does Dave Grohl make you feel good?
I'm glad
Oh,
you
yeah.
mentioned that.
Dave
Yeah, he
Grohl
does.
gonna make you feel good. He's gonna make you feel all right.
Wrong band.
This B Kong just made a huge statement that I think is so true when it comes to pinball games and the low scoring pinball games, because I can't remember, it was either the Hobbit or the Lord of the Rings game.
Mhm.
I just played it at Starfighters Arcade out here in Mesa, Arizona. I played at Starfighters Arcade. I had a good 5-minute run, and my score was only 300,000.
Yeah.
It's a low scoring game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you hit a slingshot, you only get 10 points. You know what I mean?
Pitbull, you suck.
So you're sitting
You
there,
suck.
You're sitting there and you're like, wow, this game, because typically the average pinball is like 90 seconds. You lose the ball, right? Like 5-minute run. You're like, wow, man, I must have scored 20 million points. No, man, a couple 100,000 points. And it was like deflating. It was deflating.
I don't think 90 seconds is all that short a time. And my wife would agree with that.
Yeah, you can almost go
If it's
twice
a
in that amount of
thrilling
time,
90
right?
Yeah.
But my refractory period is less than 90 seconds. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. I do want to talk about this. Nicholas, everybody knows Nicholas, huge in YouTube, really into pinball now. He says TMNT. I would argue TMNT,
low score.
it's not
is what he's
it's not
talking
the
about.
low scores that are a problem. It's the drainage. It's a drain monster. That's what most people complain about, not so much the low scores.
But even if you keep that ball alive, you're going to get a low score.
Oh yeah, 100%. I don't.
You can
disagree with
turn ball save on like 100% and be like, you have ball save for like 5 minutes.
Turtles.
It's gonna score lower.
Turtles, fantastic art package, great theme integration. It's just low scores, but like that table has like really weird narrow ramps. It's just really fucking hard.
Agree. Yeah, I hated playing it in tournaments. And anything with like a little pizza wheel in the middle where like it spins, like those games that cause chaos are always ones that like tournament players and things I just hate. Because like,
what are you talking about?
You like the pizza wheel? You like spinning things?
When you get into the multi-ball and then it drops a ball one at a time, the magnet holds it, and then it spins like crazy, and then they freak out. If you played Twister, Twister's like 6 or 8 balls like that.
Yeah,
it is so cool.
Yeah.
Then you must hate magnets too, like with the magnets when they reroute the ball,
like X-Men.
Chaos is fun, and sometimes it's rough when you're trying to predict where the ball's going to go.
He likes order. He doesn't like chaos.
One good thing about 2 of the machines that you now currently own going into the vault, that means that you can possibly get a better return now when you sell Star Wars and food to get better pinball machines.
It's only FOMO targeting. That's all it is. Like when I saw that food was included in this, it was just like they just are like when we went to go to Stern Factory, like they're pumping out machines like crazy. So the fact that they're the vaulting program is just absolutely a FOMO marketing to get this while you can. And many dealers I saw in the comments on Facebook were like, hit me up if you need one, because I got them.
Yeah,
Steps, you might not have been watching me then, but I covered the Arcade 1-Up vault thing. I asked Arcade 1-Up about it because I was like, oh, this is really cool. Maybe they'll do something with it. But then they came out with a cab that made no sense. And they said Atari 50. And they said this was a vault cab too. And I was like, the fuck? So I asked him, I was like, what does the Arcade 1-Up vault mean? Like, what do you plan to do with it?
And they said, we don't know.
To be honest, we don't have any idea. Like, they had no clue.
No clue. They're so stupid.
Yeah, I heard they're gonna vault all their games.
Yeah.
And the private stock, right?
Premium, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Private reserve.
That's what it
Private
was.
reserve.
Private reserve.
Private
label.
reserve.
They just come up with these buzzwords. I love doing that. Like if I'm in a business meeting and people are like, we're like, okay, we need to identify what we need to do. And I think, whoa, I can simplify this. We'll call it the 3 C's. And then they name this. And I'm like, oh, those are amazing buzzwords, but they tell me nothing about what we're fucking supposed to do.
That's not the purpose.
Yeah.
They're just supposed to get you excited.
That's right.
Oh, look,
Jay Mason's here. Unico in the house. We're going to talk about Unico in a minute, Jay.
Do you get to announce your arrival like that?
Wow.
Absolutely.
You don't do that?
Congrats in the house. Yeah.
And now in the arena, B Kongs.
I think I have a theory that Jay Mason is Danny's dad. Jay Mason's like,
I bet he's really
let's
disappointed
go.
if that's the case.
Yeah. No, you shouldn't run, Jay. But like this might be helpful and stuff like that. Like I actually watched your video you did with Fox last Sunday, and I thought a lot of people walked away from it and they were really happy with it, mostly because Fox didn't lock it behind his paywall, the greasy son of a bitch.
That's right. Look at me, all generous and whatnot.
There was a lot of things that came out of it. I asked a lot of questions and I had a lot of good ideas. Like obviously with what you're doing, the Nova Blast is an amazing idea. Things they're coming out now, people seem to be pretty happy with them. But you talked about future opportunities that you could do with SNK. So I did want to kind of follow up on that and talk about it. Like you just had the Unico Pocket come out. That's some people like it, some people don't, whatever. But I was thinking about what other cool things Unico could do with SNK partnership. And I just kind of wanted to get your guys' opinions. Like, what do you think Unico should be doing with SNK? What would give them the most bang for their buck and be the best path for them forward?
They should just come out with the big machine that they promised in Fox's interview and focus on arcade and not already a saturated market. The Pocket is a great name, Unico Pocket. I think. Well,
because there was a Neo Geo Pocket at one point.
Yeah, that's a great name. But that market's highly saturated. But currently, new products in the arcade space is not saturated. I mean, there's a lot of older arcade one-ups in the market, but I think there's still demand for people to buy something like what Unico has been doing with the Nova Blast, and that's going to only appeal to a portion of the market. But it seems like
it's the shits I told you, B.
Those that have received the Nova Blast have been fairly happy with it.
Yeah.
So deliver on that. Continue to deliver on the Nova Blast for the people that want it, and then make more products in that category. That's what I think they should do.
P-dubs?
What?
What do you think Unico should be doing with the SNK type stuff? Like they just did the Pocket. They did a thing on 19K Fox's show where they kind of wanted to get some community feedback, ideas on what they should do. If you were going to give them some advice, what would you say would be a good idea for Unico to do?
Well, my worry is the game box thing, as cool as it sounds. Fightcade on steroids is what they're planning on doing. It sounds like, though, the only way to play is with other people who own the same game box.
Yeah.
And if, let's just say that you only sell a couple hundred of them, what are the odds that every time you want to go play online, there's going to be somebody there in a lobby?
Yeah.
So the vacant lobbies could be a concern, right? Unless it becomes a super hot seller.
Any of you guys still playing any of the online lobbies on 1UP?
I tried to. I went in and tried to find a game in Battletoads last week, and there was
For Killer Instinct?
Oh, not Killer Instinct. The fighting communities still have like some connection. It's the other stuff Arcade 1UP does that just doesn't.
It's like the B title and the main title though. Like it's oftentimes you won't find like especially on Big Blue, you're not gonna find anybody playing Puzzle Fighter or like one of those random games. But Street Fighter Hyper is still like active every night. Like that community is still really, really active. And then NBC2 community is trash. There's nothing online there. But NBC1 and Street Fighter Hyper probably, and maybe NBA Jam. I hear there's a lot of people still playing NBA Jam. Like those are the only ones that I feel like you can get on at any point in time and still find matches. But thousands.
Yeah. Really quick, Jay, I got to ask you a question. Is this board that you're thinking about making, in fact, the bash box? Tell us the truth. Is it a repurposed bash box?
Yeah. And what's your expiration on your DNS?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we need to know that pretty quick.
And now all arcade companies, they need to tell us their TTL, their DNS. We need to know everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To make an informed
When's your cert
purchasing
expiring?
decision.
Yeah.
So one thing, I had a couple ideas when I was watching it, and I was like, there's so many cool things you could do. Obviously SNK, like I will always say this till I'm dead in the ground. It has a niche, right? It's a niche market of people that are familiar with it, but it's a very passionate market that are involved. So like you talk about doing something really big like they did with the Unico Nova Blast. And I was thinking about it, like how smart would it be to actually build like a big red that you could put original cartridges in, and then it's emulated so you could play the original cartridges, kind of like what the Retron does or that device Patrick just had. I was like, that's to me, like people being able to buy a brand new Neo Geo 4 slot and then put games in it, like that's a banger. That's a winner right there. That was one idea I had. The other one that I had was I think a lot of us really got into the hobby of mini consoles of these companies recreating their products. Instead of like a Unico Pocket, I mean, that could have been a Neo Geo Mini, and they could have done what they did with the Neo Geo AESX Gold of putting a handheld inside a shell. Just have a shell with, all the workings inside it and a recreated AES controller. And I mean, I think there'd be a huge market for that.
This is something that Ben Heck, anybody who's familiar with modders and hackers, he took one of those mini systems, those SNK mini systems, and made his own handheld, dedicated handheld, purpose-built for SNK games. He even has the 4 buttons, and using kind of the thumb as the pivot point, and you just sort of recreate that experience. I wanted them, take the red one, take the black and gold, whichever one you want, I don't really care. Take these and kind of follow just stick with me. I'm going to say something. Everybody's going to laugh. My Arcade, how they take something and they just make it for specific games. Imagine some of these systems just for the Metal Slug games, then just for the Neo Geo, or just for the like the Samurai Showdown, or the World Heroes or whatever. Or you could have a fighter's version and a beat 'em up or a side-scrolling version. I mean, something like this. And this is to Justin's point. The handheld market is saturated with just generic black consoles with joysticks that have no purpose, no point. They either look like that or they look like a Game Boy, right? So if you do something like this, I know there's a lot of money in injection
100%.
molding, and you got to tool up and you got to make something very specific to SNK or Neo Geo or whatever, specific to those games. But it has to be something that looks different, plays purpose-built, and it's also got to be something you can display. And God forbid, make a few versions that people can collect. I mean, there's a lot of companies out there that make a ton of, even Analog Pocket, as expensive as they are, they just come out with a new color and people lose their minds and pay top dollar for these things. Now, I know the price would get bumped up. I think that's okay. I think if you were 150 or less, SNK branded, officially licensed, and you could get, 10 to 20 games on each one, I think you would have something different, something that the fanatical SNK fans would actually salivate for and they would want. But something like this, just another black handheld that looks like every other Ambernick device out there, only it's only going to play SNK games. Yeah. It just, to me, it's just going to get lost.
Let me explain it in a single sentence. I'll try.
Okay.
New wave toys, but handheld pockets. Basically, you license with a single title, and you price it maybe around that price, and you're making it exclusive, limited run. It's collector's item, and you're like, Unico's like, we're gonna make a new one every 6 months, or once a year or twice a year. Yeah. We're gonna do Metal Slug, and maybe it only has Metal Slug, and it's like just a Metal Slug branded. That's how you can differentiate yourself from that saturated market.
And it has
it's not intended to have side-loaded games on it. It's just Metal Slug.
But it's got all the Metal Slug games. And the great thing about it is they all have the same control layout, so you're not having to retool every time you want to, let's say, Samurai Showdown. You're just talking about different branding. Right? Exactly. Yeah. But
you get the license for the skin.
Exactly. Functionally, it's all the same.
Nice.
That's a winner.
Something like that. And I think to your point, Mike, the full size, you have a 26-inch monitor that you build, that you make. And the Nova Blast is a great vehicle for that, for the Candy Cab fans. Now, what about the American versions, the American arcade fans? You take a Big Blue, you make it skinnier, so it's still the same height and same width, and you have that beautiful 26-inch monitor. You make it a little skinnier, so it's easier to fit, maneuver around, and you got a flat package. You got to put it together and take advantage of the thinness of the LCD. But yeah, if you're going to put any R&D into a board, let's have a really nice, MVS board, whether it's 1 slot, 2 slot, 4 slot, whatever, and just make that bad boy. That's what I'm talking about. That would be incredible. I mean, take this to the max, and that's where you start. And I just don't see if you're just going to jump in with another generic item, it's just going to get lost in the shuffle. Nobody's going to care.
100%.
So really quickly, I do have to mention this. One area where I think Unico really messed up was sending out the review samples to people like Cool Toy, P-Dubs, and 19K Fox. If you're going to send out a handheld with ROMs on it, there's only one person you send it to. That's our buddy Nostalgia. So not sending one out to Nostalgia, huge mistake.
You didn't get
what's
one?
Funny.
Oh, that
you're being
What?
sarcastic, but
I'm serious. I am.
you're serious, right? You sound sarcastic.
But yeah, Nostalgia is like the king of handhelds. You go
And he
watch
makes
his
really
channel.
good videos too.
Yeah.
When he wants to.
Messiah wants to know, when is New Wave Toys going to make me my Alabama man? Thank you very much for the super chat, Messiah. He has one coming. That doesn't surprise me. Nostalgia's got his hands in everything.
Jeez, Mike.
Good call.
Talk
It was a
about-
good one to
talk
send
about-
it to.
There we go.
What a dickhead thing to say, right, Fox? I mean,
I thought I'm sitting
this
right
is
here.
this is the
I'm
guy.
sitting right here.
And do you know why? Is because Mike's not getting one, and that's
Oh,
why
that's
he's all
okay.
angry.
Is that what it is? I think. Oh, Patrick.
Okay,
didn't
Mike
even
never
realize
endorses me to
that.
get anything either. I don't even think Jay knows
Yeah.
who I am.
I
He's
think
like,
we should get stuff.
Jay,
like
don't
that.
send it in to be.
And
yeah,
you know,
no,
Jay,
don't do
Jay,
it.
Jay Mason. If I'm sorry if you didn't like my Unico Pocket review, but I mean, it didn't blow me away. Like I said in the review, and like what these guys have said tonight, it is a crowded handheld market.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna come out with a handheld, it's gotta be a banger.
It has to play Chrono Trigger. That's all I.
Oh my god!
Oh
No.
man. Yeah, it has to play the PlayStation 1 version of Chrono Trigger.
The greatest game of all time.
all time.
Okay, so we spent 30 minutes on AtGames DNS.
Yep.
We spent how much time on this next topic? What was this next topic? Oh, Stern. Oh, we split.
talked about
so
Stern.
and then we
Stern
did
/
Unico.
yeah.
All right. So moving on now. I missed a lot of this, but did you watch the New Wave Toys live stream they did last night? Arcade Life episode 2.
I need the
Anybody here
cliff
see
notes.
it?
What happened?
Not at all.
Their audio was off, but it was.
Yeah,
That's the only thing that was wrong.
Well, I know Shiloh was nice and clear, and the
He
guest
was.
was
He was
nice and
great.
clear. Eduardo seemed like he was
Eduardo.
really far away from his mic.
Eduardo.
So I think the whole focus on, they brought a guy on that helped them build the whole timeout thing, and they were talking about the diorama. That when I tuned in, finally when my power came back on, that was the main thing. I didn't really see a lot on if there was any announcements. I've been asking people, nobody can tell me, so I probably should have went back and watched it.
Shit.
The one thing I will say, if you haven't seen it, that you have to go back and watch. Shiloh was not in his normal location. He was actually home with his parents in Saskatchewan. His mom kept interrupting the stream to bring him snacks.
That's what a good mom does. You need to eat something.
That's hilarious.
That's awesome. New Wave Toys, what are they doing? Are they going to make more pinball machines, you think? Or did they get so much crap about Black Hole they're just not going to do anymore?
Well, they already announced. They did the first episode of Arcade Life. I think it was when we were at the Pinball Expo.
I mean, they
announced
said
we
they're
got
going to do
Williams
more,
on
but
board.
do you think that's going to happen?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
100%. Yeah.
I hope so, because I got a whole little thing going on over here. Gotta rely
Is that
on
going to be your first like real pinball machine?
That'll be my
Is like the new one?
can you call that a real pinball?
It has got a plunger and the ball moves, right?
Yeah.
No. I think that the Wonderland may be my first real pinball machine.
Really? Is that going to be the one?
You called it
I think-
real.
I think.
How
Wait,
cute.
I love how
Hey, I
that's
thought
not
this was
real,
supposed to
but
be
the one-
inclusive. This is what I'm talking about. This is why no one thinks your new show is
New Wave
inclusive.
Toys is real
For
but the Wonderland's-
everyone. whether you
I'm
like it or
messing with
not.
Fox in front of us right now to be funny.
Great.
Not
That's so
inclusive
cool.
at all. P-Dubs knows.
That's totally not
No,
real.
this show is not inclusive, but B and I show is
I
inclusive.
distinctly remember Mike telling me behind the scenes that his goal was to bring down Unico. So all
He
because
did say that.
all because he didn't
can't
get
believe-
any free products from them.
Yeah.
I'm
said
just
that
I'm
he
just
literally
sitting
said
here
that.
with
Yeah,
my
he's
dick
like,
in my
I
hand.
am-
They don't want my opinion on anything.
The good thing about Mike
Unico.
using Mike using my StreamYard account, guys, is we could really just take the trash out and just kind
There we go.
of
Ayo.
move on with the
This
show.
layout's better
Welcome,
anyway.
welcome to Ultra.
Hey,
oh, he's
hey.
back.
Ultra Mega.
We got a $5 super chat here from B Kirby, the Chicago Arcade guy. $10 super chat. Wow.
Yeah.
Why don't the five of
Actually,
you create
that's
an arcade
incorrect.
company? You guys all have the knowledge needed
That's
to do
incorrect.
this seriously.
Do
Thank
we
you.
do we have the logistic contacts? Do we have the manufacturing
no.
contacts? Do we have all that? No, we would be the five guys in a room going, "This sounds like a cool idea," and then you tell someone else to go figure it out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
we have the
No.
luxury of just commenting on this stuff.
Yeah.
We
Passion
don't have
will
to
only
factor
get
in
you
any of
so
the
far.
reality. So
Yeah.
guys like Jay have to
Yeah.
actually figure out how to make this shit work. We
But
don't
we-
really care.
but we
Yeah.
reserve the right to yell at Jay and say, "Do a better
Yeah.
job."
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
some authority in the space,
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
and
Yeah.
we can
Yeah.
also say, Jay, how come you don't love me, man?
It is so easy for us to get online and say, well, why don't they use IL sticks and buttons and all this shit? Like, we get to say all that stuff
Right.
when in reality, there could be a reason, logistically or cost wise or licensing wise, that we have no clue, but we just get to come up and say, they just give me what I want. I don't care why or how, right?
Yeah,
We
here's how it works.
complain for a fee. Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
want a Robotron t-shirt from Amazon for $30 or for $20? Let's do the $20 one, right?
I like the 21. Yeah.
By the way, P-Dubs, where's that link? Because I'm still waiting for it.
That's true.
Oh, the Robotron link?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but-
send
Where is the
them
link?
your affiliate link. Make sure.
Affiliates.
Really quickly, B Kirby, I have mentioned this before a lot of times, like specifically with Arcade 1-Up. People are like, what would you do if you ran Arcade 1-Up? I told people we would get a lot of really cool shit for about 3 months, and then the company would go out of business.
Bankrupt.
Belly up. Yeah. They need to know some like really legit, like the manufacturing guys. That's why the Wonderland amusements people think they can do pinball, right?
Yeah.
Because they're like,
Yeah,
at
yeah,
least
yeah.
they know the context side of the business. They may not know the pinball community side, but they know how to
Right.
run like a low cost manufacturing business side, and you can kind of learn some of those things. So with the right people, things could happen. But appreciate the vote of confidence.
Absolutely. It's a huge
Yeah.
compliment. Yeah.
Yeah, Justin thinks he wants to build new pinball machines now. Like we're designing a homebrew pinball machine. Isn't that happening, Justin?
Ooh, that would be cool.
Yeah,
That
we're
would
gonna
be
make
excellent.
one.
Just one.
Just one.
We're gonna
No,
spend all
listen,
the time.
I want to be
I
honest.
said it's gonna take us
wanna
5
be
years.
That's fine.
You piece of
Come on.
shit, P-Dubs. You
What?
literal piece of shit.
I didn't do anything.
What
I've
did
been
you-
sitting here.
What happened?
I'm buying you a clicky keyboard so people know that it's not me. You garbage
What?
person.
That's
What
the
happened?
kind of a bitch.
What
I
Look
like
at this.
Pinball.
I want free stuff. This message was typed by Michael B. Well, this is going on the like some kind of troll video now. He said it. I know he's gonna blame P-Dubs, but
It's
I was
right
there.
He even signed his own comment.
Oh,
What
man.
about what's the down? And I don't know. Talk to me.
Oh,
What's
shit.
the
I've been here
downside
too
of
long. I gotta go.
direct to
Hurry up.
consumer?
I gotta
Direct
say
to
bye.
consumer. Why don't they do that more? Is it just? I mean, what's the downside?
Logistics. It's like the distribution and the warehousing side of it, right? And so I think
Customer
that's
support.
and because I think the magic number for any of the products was like 3,000 units
It
was
was at
like
one
like
point, yeah.
It was, yeah.
that's
Yeah.
like ish a good selling point. So 3,000 direct to consumer is a lot versus using 500 orders to Costco, whatever it is, right? So I think
Right,
that's like the
Yeah.
rough part.
So really,
but can't you future proof yourself by saying that, like in your whatever you're using, your crowdfunding of choice, this is the minimum that we have to hit? I mean,
Oh no. See, the problem is with Arcade 1-Up, a
Or
lot
anybody.
of their contracts don't allow for crowdfunding because they already have to agree to return on the number of sales that's built into their contracts that they have with the companies. So even if they could do, they would have to do it with a new company on a new contract basis.
Right.
Because from what I understand, like their deal at Namco is every year we're going to sell X amount of cab, and here's the return. This is what you're going to get paid.
and I'm curious as part of some of those negotiations, and maybe we can't answer this question, but for the obscure title X, whatever it is, Robotron, whatever, Alien vs. Predator,
Obscure? Fox, how dare you?
whatever. You son of a bitch.
Terribly obscure.
If you pick obscure title, whatever, could an established company such as a Arcade 1-Up per se negotiate with Williams or whoever and say, listen, for this specific title, we want to do some crowdfunding, we want to have some feedback, or we want to phraseology, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to say for a specific title. Why is it that we don't see more of those attempts? And to put this kind of a button on this, would you consider KI Pro one of those examples?
KI Pro was a direct to consumer pre-order. They only needed to
1,000
do
units.
1,000 though.
Mm-hmm.
They never did it again.
DMod has an interesting point if you want to pull that up.
I thought you were blocked. I specifically blocked him.
Rectify that situation.
Yeah.
No,
So,
I,
anyways,
I think we confirmed tonight that we would not be able to do that. But thanks so much, console nut boy.
one really, really quickly before we end this topic, I do want to talk about this. James obviously now is going to do a show on Saturday night where he goes into detail explaining amendments and how Arcade 1-Up can do them. But I think the real problem right here, why James is so litigious in his videos and he has so much information. James really needs to get laid, guys. Everybody help me out. We're going to restart retro randoms and find James a chick that plays arcade games and wants to play with his joystick too.
I think that, and maybe this, I don't know. I mean, you talk about Hasbro, you talk about people that own the IP, and I think that's the differentiating factor. We're talking about someone else trying to take that IP and do something with it. Hasbro has an IP. They can have HasLabs. They can say, hey, listen, we have strict parameters. Okay, this is going to be the price. We have to get this many, or it's just not going to happen.
I thought it went like this. Let's say I'm an arcade company, and I go to Costco, and I say, "Hey guys, I want to sell you Robotron. How many will you buy?" And they're like, "You can do Robotron? Yep, I got the license for Robotron. Yep, totally, I got the license for Robotron. You want to buy like 3,000 units for this?" Millions of dollars, and you resell them for this amount, and they're like, okay, let's sign the contract. And then you go try to get the license really quick, and you're like, hey, Costco said they're going to buy 3,000 Robotrons, so obviously we can move these because we pre-sold them already. And they're like, how much will you make on it? You'll make this amount of millions of dollars if you sign this license. Like, cool, let's do it. I think it's something like that.
Right.
The problem is you go to Costco, you go, we're going to do Robotron 2084, and they're like, how about Pac-Man? That's a more of a guarantee.
Yeah.
How about Golden Tee?
Can you give us Golf and Rampage on the same cabinet? Can you do that, guys? Can you do that, fella?
$1 million seller right there. $1 million seller.
Everybody's going to buy it.
Really quickly, I know Dubs has got to go.
I have to go. I only meant to pop on for a minute and make some jokes, and I've been here too long. So
we grow on
you guys. Have a great night, and thanks for clowning around with me tonight.
Will we see you at CES?
Well, to tell the truth, Fox.
Always leave them wanting more. I love it.
Yeah. So moving on from there, I do want to talk about CES.
He had to pee.
Excellent transition.
Excellent
He's got a piss jug. It's not an issue.
Yeah. That's good.
Oh, is that right?
I have more of a bucket.
He's got a piss jug. So, Jay, I appreciate that. We might take you up on that in just a quick second because we are going to be talking about you and what Unico is going to be doing. Because right now, we know that Unico, Media 1-Up, My Arcade, they're the only people on the actual official docket that are going to be at CES, right? From the Home Arcade community.
I will be talking to My Arcade specifically, so watch my channel for that coverage.
Yeah.
No one else cares.
So the reason why I say that is I wanted to ask this question. Does anybody think Arcade 1-Up is going to be there or do something during CES this year?
No.
Like 1-Up, the company 1-Up?
Yes. No. Arcade 1-Up.
I don't see a reason for them being there. There's like no new-ish product that they have that warrants like the attention to have like a little, because the cost of having like
how do you know that?
I don't. I just like they've been silent, right? The last CES announcement they had was announcing the Casinocade, which kind of has some sort of
that was
relevance.
2 years ago.
It was
exactly. But we didn't know about it before.
Yeah, we did.
Did we know that they were going to come out with a counter?
Did you two know about that? You knew
they announced the Casinocade like as one.
Oh,
of the
I
things.
see what you're saying. Yeah.
Like they made an announcement they will be at CES.
I got it.
Right at some like they did the press release thing, like right. So people knew it was going to be there. I remember trying to reach out to Cyrus and be like, "Can we see it there?" And then the fucker like hid it in the closet while we went to go see it. He wouldn't let us see it. Right. So I don't think there's any
misunderstanding
business though.
They announced it months before, and the first opportunity
they did not announce the.
It was like a week, couple weeks before. It was like a week.
It wasn't even a week before. It
if
was
it's
a
a week
day
before,
before you guys met up with Cyrus at CES. Yeah. It was a day before.
Well, then
day
history
before?
could repeat itself, and we have no clue.
Okay.
and they do show up
Sure.
at CES.
Sure.
And then they announce it a day before, right?
And this time
Possibly.
Cyrus agrees to
Yeah.
go into the closet with you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
maybe.
mean, he probably stays in the closet.
I
I
was
think that
there.
we've seen a trajectory.
We
We've
do-
seen giant
7 minutes in
15-foot
heaven.
NBA jams, at CES's, massive blowout spectaculars. And then they just like do announcements during CES. And I think we're just not going to see anything.
I think I
Anything
scared
else?
Cyrus from coming to Vegas with me because the last time he was in a room with me, I went like evil Ryu.
You went
cussed out.
nuts. I'll never
He
forget that.
deserved it. He deserved
And then
it.
Cyrus was just sitting there, and
It's
B
kinda
was like,
awkward.
"You can go fuck yourself." And Cyrus was just sitting like, "Hello, darkness, my old friend."
such
This
a
is why I
good
love this
time.
guy.
Travis was like, "What is he doing?" But
What a
and I've
time to
never-
go! And honestly, this is a behind the scenes thing too. This is a behind the scenes thing too. We were at a meeting, and B was like super mad. So we're all just sitting down, like when we were supposed to work with Arcade One Up, and they wanted to work with the community. So we're just sitting down there having a conversation, and B's just like, "Yeah, and here's my fucking problem with everything. You fuckers did this and that."
Did I say
And I was just
no?
like-
I didn't use that like foul language in a meeting.
But you were aggressive.
down.
You were aggressive in the meeting because they
Well, I
screwed
was
something
no.
up.
The aggressiveness
Yeah.
was about the price point not being included in the Time Crisis reveal.
Yeah,
That's what my stickler was about.
Yes.
They wanted to do the live stream and not announce the price point of the cabinet.
yeah.
this
and,
wasn't
and
the
I
only
was.
thing he was a stickler about. He got mad.
It was the
another time,
main
so.
thing.
B, you are a habitual line stepper. That's the
Okay,
truth.
okay, listen.
He
Okay,
is.
but
Oh,
let me
companies
go to
hate
bat.
me.
No. Let me
Bad
go to
boy.
bat for B for a second. Mike, was he unjustified in his points?
No,
They're
it's not
valid, right?
unjustified, but like if you're at a meeting, and
Correct.
then like you're trying to work something through, and everybody's
Right.
keeping their cool, and then someone just goes off, and you're like, "What the fuck is wrong
And
with that
what-
guy?"
listen,
That was
like,
B.
You gotta have that. You gotta have that nut. You gotta have the one guy so
No,
passionate
but
that,
it was-
that he has to voice his opinion.
But here's the thing,
That
though.
just
I
has to
don't.
happen.
I don't complain just to complain, and I tell this with anybody that has a problem with something, come with a solution. So every time I brought something up, I brought up a solution. So the other thing that was a stickler about was that during the live stream, they wanted to give away coupon codes.
Oh
for
yeah,
like
that
$50
was
off.
the thing he got mad about.
Yeah, it was like they wanted to give coupon, and it wasn't even a live stream. It was an email exchange. So that
Yeah.
like they were like, hey, let's give out $20, $50 coupons, which is what $1,000 of value. And my proposition to them was like, the community will not see that as value. They would I would rather, or I would say the suggestion would be give away one free cabinet. The community would rather see one person get a free cabinet.
Yeah, but what if it
than
went to
20
Ashley?
people get a 50.
Ashley always gets
Maybe,
mad.
but I gave a solution that was like in a way that was like telling them what community sentiment would feel
Yeah.
about 20 discount codes. So everything I said was in a way that said, "Fuck no, I didn't."
But
But
it's
it was
a different-
weird.
but
It
it's
was
a different-
B was never invited to another meeting after that for some
I
reason.
know, but
I'm
this
crying.
is
No,
what-
I'm crying because I cut onions earlier and they're still on my finger.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
God.
eye.
Right.
You keep
So,
tell
like,
us,
onions.
tell us,
I
tell us the
know.
truth.
Sure.
You watched 5 Goes West, didn't you?
It kills me every time. But B is the guy that took the bull by the horns and grabbed the cabinet, the Simpsons cabinet, and took it to the freaking brewery and was like, "Listen, we're gonna
Okay.
put this out there. The community has to see it." He just basically did it because it was the right thing to do. And I can't imagine his frustration sitting in these meetings with these just boneheaded people who can't see the obvious.
I wouldn't call them boneheaded. It was more like lack of self-awareness seems to be a theme that we
Yeah.
see from
Yeah.
some
You-
folks.
You were
Like,
you were
I'm
you were
trying
in
to
the
be
meeting
nice.
that I was in where we went. They talked about Atari 50th.
Our
and I gave
50th,
them-
yeah, that guy.
I gave them like honest feedback, and I was like to their marketing guy, I was like, "Listen, you're gonna it's an uphill battle with Atari 50th. People come to Arcade One Up. They want nostalgia. They want arcade recreation. The community's not going to like this." And he got really defensive. And he was like, "Well, you need to tell them that this is what Atari.
I need to
wanted.
tell
This was
them.
their-
That's
I
the
was like,
problem.
I don't got to do shit, man. You're
That's
the
the
one
problem.
selling the fucking product."
That's the problem. They're like, "Okay, you need to tell the customers what they need to buy." No, you kiss
No,
my
no,
ass.
not what they need to buy, but that this was what Atari wanted. So nobody should be mad about it because this
That's
is
what
Atari.
that's basically what they're saying.
Yeah.
This is what Atari wants, so you need to buy what Atari's selling.
I
No,
know.
we don't have to buy jack shit. You need to make what we want to buy. It's the simplest concept, and it blows my mind that these companies can't seem to get out of their own way.
Yeah.
So, that was just an isolated incident. Like, B got upset at that time while
I'm on
working
B side on this
in
one.
a
Never
community
talk to them
company
again.
and never talked to him again. And you know what? I
Well, they
feel
stopped
bad
talking
for
to
B.
me 100%.
But B,
so.
now would you mind telling us what happened when you were part of the AtGames influencer program?
Yes, I will absolutely tell you what happened. They used to use Skype to communicate with the influencers. And in that thread, they talked about Nod. And here's my precedence before I get into stories.
And
P-dubs
B,
at the
B
time,
was cutting onions. He was crying everywhere. He told them to go fuck themselves.
P-dubs left the thread earlier. Like there was precedence. He left the thread. And I got so hung up that they announced the price point for something. But then like 2 days later, they increased it. And I had already made a video about the lower price point. So it made me look stupid in my video. And so I was like, you should honor the original advertised price point. You still have time to fix it. So it was like 24 hours before the sale went live. And I think they were just saying like, oh, we'll look into it. And I was just like, I can't stand by, and I won't make future content on Nod anymore. Because it specifically said this was the Nod thread. So I thought I was just leaving that thread. But once I left, it seemed like they didn't invite me back to the other thread. That became the main thread apparently for all
Well,
of the
you
influencers.
didn't say it didn't come across as you weren't going to talk about Nod anymore. It came across.
It did.
As,
Well, okay.
Well,
Words.
PK then at that point morphed into the guy from Tombstone, and he was like, "Well, bye."
Yeah, B left us. But yeah, I just couldn't. Yeah, I specifically was like my word. I didn't want to talk about Nod anymore. But then it just turned into not covering AtGames anymore.
See, this is why I like you, B.
Yeah.
Because you're not afraid to speak up to someone like AtGames, or imagine you were Arcade 1UP and you were talking to Atari.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many people in business that are just yes men. They're
That's
like,
the worst part. Yeah.
Yes, sir. But to have a good business, like we practice this at work, and I know you've talked about this, B. It's like, how do you have an open conversation with another person?
Where you
Tell
show
them
radical candor? Like
yes. Explain the radical candor side of things, right? But also it's like a love sandwich, right? You can say, look, I highly, highly respect you. I really value your opinion on this team, but I think we need to talk about this challenge that you're going to have.
Yeah.
The community for arcades are not really going to like a 50th anniversary. Again, Atari, love you guys. You see, you do this little love sandwich.
Yep.
But if you're not willing to speak up, that's when both partners are going to get screwed over, because you're going to make a product that no one wants.
Yeah.
And then Atari is like, I'm never going to work with Arcade 1UP again. And
So
it's
all
like
these conversations
I
had was before I understood that concept. I didn't show the care about the product and the company before I gave them the feedback. So I just came off like an asshole instead of
no. I think you did.
No, I
think
wouldn't.
you
I
did.
wouldn't say no. Let me speak for a second. I wouldn't say you came off like an asshole. That's too masculine a term. You came off bitchy.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, bitchy. Yeah, but I think
you were like, is he for me?
he has always shown the love for the product. That's never been a question. It's never been a question. You dumbasses just don't listen. You're making TikTok videos about Sex in the City. You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, but you have to be even like what we do and stuff like that. Like P-Dubs brought up earlier, he's like, I did 4 bad reviews in a row. Like we have to be like, that's why it's very important for us that like we don't take review products where people say, oh, we want to look at your video first. No, that's absolutely 100% not okay. Like you send me a product, I make a video on it. We do not communicate unless I have questions, and that's it.
Right.
That's it.
If you email any creators out there, if you email the person and be like, hey, do you know that reviewing videos is really frowned upon by your customers? And so the what you should do is send me the product, let me do the review. There's no review. I'm going to say my opinion. If I have questions, you answer them. That's it. That's what I'll agree to. If you're willing to send me the product, let's go. If not, and when I was making content, every now and then someone would reply back, that sounds great. Here's the product. Or like, I shipped it to you. And every now and then I just never got a response.
But I think great companies do
fine.
that. Awesome companies do that, like 2 Retro and their brick handheld system. If you're tired of paying the high prices of the analogs of the world, check out Brick 2 Retro. Video coming very soon.
Same
Sad thing
thing with
is,
Jay Mockin, right? I mean, Jay Mockin sent me this hard drive, and
D,
which
There
one
we go,
is it?
boys. Throw it
You
out
got
there.
it?
You got to be quick on the trigger.
Hey, you got a branded one. I came in a brown box that has no labels in it. What the hell?
Yeah, but I'm Michael B.
Oh, I know. They gave me the budget one. I'm
Big ass
Comes to
Michael B
Rust.
right
They're like, that's funny. My Kin Hank video has my most views ever. So they're like, all right, this guy can review budget hand.
Like, I wasn't gonna say anything about this, and I don't know if you follow along, but like, I like AtGames. I like their products. I always have. But I've noticed lately they've hired a bunch of content creators to be employees. This is something they've done.
Are you seriously? Really?
Yeah, well, everybody
Dude,
knows that.
Wait
Wow,
just a
they're-
damn minute. They've
PK
hired
is the only
people?
employee there.
I know that they hire content creators not as employees of the company. The
How
same
about
way
they
you traditionally
contracted
contracted
influencers?
these people
They
to
contracted
be
with
employees.
existing.
Justin,
I
former
just
contractor.
Slow it down
So-
so I can keep up.
But
They've
here's
contracted with content creators.
Here's the crazy thing, and like I'm not shitting on them because I don't think there was any will there. I just don't think they understand the optics of it.
Let's get Nicholas a job. He's
They-
like,
But they
he's
have
like, come on.
You want
they-
drama? I'll give
That's
you
a good guy.
drama.
That's a
They-
damn good guy.
they employ through contract Tampa Tech and Wagner, but yet they send them the product to review too. And I'm like, this is like Cyrus reviewing a product for Arcade 1-Up. You can't do that. The optics
It
are
doesn't-
terrible.
That doesn't make a lot of sense.
Like content on their channels for their product, like
Yes.
for them to so they're compensated with product, is what you're saying.
No. These people are actually they have
They're
jobs
paid
there
and
stuff
then they
like
get the
that.
product
Yeah.
for free. Right.
Yeah, I was
that's
surprised to see
weird.
Tampa Tech doing the event circuit stuff too. Like he's actually like doing stuff, but he does more beta testing stuff. But he was saying,
Yeah,
like,
he works there, and so like it might not have anything to do with what they're working there. It's just an optical thing, right? I'm like, what are you doing, guys? This is the same as like Cyrus reviewing like an Arcade 1-Up program, or Jay Mason reviewing the Unico Nova Blast.
It's almost like
I-
it's
I
not
was-
going to be a genuine experience. That's
But-
Yeah.
odd.
To be
Yeah.
fair, I've watched Tampa Tech, and I think he made a lot of content before he did AtGames. So if you're like watching a review video before he worked there, and he says it's sponsored but doesn't disclose that he works there, that's one thing. But most of the Wagner stuff, he makes it clear that like he works there, right?
Oh, I didn't say that they didn't work there. Like they're very open about that and stuff like that. It's just, like you can't have your people that are working for your company review your stuff. The optics are just
you can't.
There's no value to their
No.
content at all.
Is that why Unico didn't send you the pocket?
Fox, yeah.
Listen, I don't work for
No.
Unico, but I would. Hello,
crying.
lady. How are you?
I cut onions and I haven't eaten them yet. So
Tell us the truth. Was B really cutting onions, or were you guys watching Fievel Goes West? We need to know.
Just tell us.
Fievel goes west always.
Do it.
Oh, it's bad.
Yeah.
Were you watching a rom?
Fievel.
That's why he's crying.
Like he has no idea why I suddenly said Fievel goes west, but he needs to go.
Okay.
Have a lovely evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you
All
for
right.
sharing him for a small amount of time. We appreciate it.
Yes. I watched a video today from a comedian, and he's got headphones on, and he's talking to another guy, and he's asking him all these questions, and then he's like, why'd you ask me all those questions? He's like, so what the answer would sound like to other people? And then you see that entire scene, and he just says all those words without the context. Oh my god, it's so funny. Anyway, B is gone.
I'm so sad. I'm so sad. B's gone. Now, hold on. I just to clarify now, in case anybody wasn't aware. Let me just get a picture up here. 1 second. Give me a minute here, guys.
Give him. a
Okay,
minute.
anyway, so
talk about
Fox.
Justin. Yes.
So Fox,
Yes.
you went to the Dominican Republic with your pocket.
I did. I took the pocket. I took the
The
Unico
Unico?
pocket with me. The Unico pocket.
Did it fit in your pocket?
No, it does not at all fit in your pocket. That's the one thing. You've right off the bat, you got some false advertising, which I think that's. I guess let me take a step back. Depending on the size of the pocket,
Okay.
will determine if it will fit within that said pocket. So I think there's a disclaimer that needs to be made there. Maybe it's on the back of the box. I'm not sure. I'll check that out later. But I found that while the games themselves were very much enjoyable and the controls were not optimized for the experience, I think that's what is lacking. More to come in the video review for sure.
Very good. That's exciting.
It is exciting. You know what's also exciting? Our trip to CES.
That's
no, this
right.
is not another plug. This is a plug for our experience. I'm excited to be with you and B. Going to CES again. Last year was a lot of fun. It's so fun. I slept on the floor and didn't regret it.
That's right. And this time you get a bed.
I get a bed this time. Yeah, they've allowed me.
We worked hard to make sure that was the case.
They pulled together the extra funds to make sure that Fox has a bed to sleep on. It's nice. It's a good time.
That's right. So, what toy will you be bringing to CES? For
oh my gosh,
plane trip.
I don't know.
Will it be the Unico Pocket? Or is it going to be? Oh,
it could be the brick. I don't know. It could be the Unico Pocket. Not sure. There may be some other devices coming down the pipe. I'm really honestly, maybe it's just the game that I'm playing, but I'm really enjoying the EXPR. So that's a good device. Hey, there he is.
Hey,
Jay.
Hey, how's it going?
I guess we do allow him on the show without a camera. I thought we were locking arms that he can only come on the show.
No,
without
that's P-Dub's. That's P-Dub's policy.
P-Dub's.
We don't
have
have
P-Dub
that
rule.
policy.
That's not our rule. That's right.
The truth is, Jay went state's witness on the mafia. He is currently in witness protection, and he can't show himself.
Common
so
knowledge.
everybody leave him alone about it.
Yep. So exciting announcement to be made here, Jay. You're going to be at CES. Is that correct?
Yep. We one of our agents got us. It's not a huge space. It's 5 by 10, but got us a space and invited us out about 3 months ago. And it was one of those things. With as many shows as I've done, it was like, do I really want to just get done with IAPA and all the stress of that and trying to do everything and then go do CES? And a lot of people don't understand that, but you get waylaid at IAPA and then you're trying to do all these orders, trying to work all these different things. So it was one of those, do I really want to do it or not? And so my boss hit me up and said, look, our main sales guy isn't going. Can you go? And I'm just like, I guess.
I've heard the cure for stress is actually more stress. That's what I heard.
It is.
So,
yeah.
You're fine. You're fine.
It is.
Yeah, it's like 2 negatives equal a positive, right?
Yeah, it's math.
There's always stress in this game, but there's always the positive, and there's always the learning. Like, even the negatives that we've got over the Unico Pocket, I get it. I understand. But what we did was limited. We gave them 5 designs. Out of that 5 designs, they said, you can do this one. And you do with what you can. And it's going to piss people off. You're going to get the negatives from it. But then you learn. And so, like, when you go back into your next negotiation, you say, these are the things that the community wants. And these are the things we're going to stick to on what we want from a product. Just like we did with the Mini.
Yeah, we tried it your way. Now let's try it my way.
So, and the you're talking about SNK when you talk to them back and forth?
Yeah, that's what we're going to do now. But like you saw the first Mini, but then we did the MVS Mini just recently. So that was like a nod to the MVSX is what it was, what we wanted to do. And so my thing is, I love the idea that you guys came up with. And, I'll give a nod to that. I think it would be really cool if we could do like a skinned console of just Metal Slug. And then let's do Samurai Showdown. But I'm not talking just about the ones that have already been out there. My big thing, and the thing I'm pressing for, is to get those unreleased Atmos Wave titles and things like that on a console.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
Now we're talking. Yeah. So we're talking about Metal Slug. Is that 6 and 7 or just 7?
Just 6.
Okay, so just 6. And then you got, are we talking like
He's got a little
blue and all that stuff?
Because you've got another party you got to deal with, and then you're looking at 2 licenses. So,
gotcha.
6 we can get away with because it was when they were all together as a band, and so they all have the rights. They can all license that kind of situation.
I played 6 last year through a mod that's out there that allows you to run it on a Dreamcast because the hardware was so close. Someone patched the differences to make the game work, and that was a lot of fun playing an arcade title on a Dreamcast.
It's only like 2 chips for the Atmos Wave that make it completely different. I mean, it's not a lot of technology there. It's a lot like The Simpsons. is a modified PlayStation with Konami BIOS.
I see.
Simpsons Bowling, you mean?
Yeah. So are in that area, right? Consoles and arcade sometimes overlapped hardware, especially from a company, right, that was manufacturing both. Or...
You look at a lot of the games that are out there, like Cruising USA and stuff, that have hard drives in them. They're very similar. A lot of them have video cards and stuff inside of them. You look at Gauntlet Legacy; it's got a hard drive and a video card inside of it.
Cool. Makes sense.
We've got another guest here in his silk pajamas, which you may
With a
remember from
wonderful hat.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
Our buddy Detroit Love is joining the show. We've also got Jay from Unico here. Carl,
What's going on, Jay?
Hey, how's it going?
Awesome. What's going on, gentlemen? Good to see you.
good to see you too. So, did you take a break from your romantic evening to come down and join us?
Just a moment. Go back up for round 3.
Yeah.
Oh, dang. Well, that's Jay. It's really awesome to hear that you took the feedback from the community and are already taken steps to plan your next product around it. You know, that's music to our ears.
And we're taking the steps to go ahead and put an update out there for the Unico Pocket on some of the flaws that people pointed out with the reviews, like when you accidentally hit the select button, going blank, adding the feature, just like we did. I didn't know, honestly, because I only had the Unico Pocket as we did IAPA. And I haven't had enough time to play it, so I didn't know that we didn't have the turn the blood on and turn the blood off.
Oh, I see.
You know, I found out about it after a review, and it was like, oops.
I see. But software patch, right? You can do a firmware update then.
Same way we did it with you. So everybody that's got a unit, I'll make sure they get the patch out there, and we make that happen.
Cool.
All right, so we're talking CES. Jay, you're going to be there. Are people going to be able to get hands-on with the Unico Nova Blast at CES?
Well, we got a 5x10, so I'm trying to figure that out right now. I mean, I want to ship it out there, want to have it out there, but a 5x10 is going to make it a little bit hard for people to play.
Yeah.
And then the other option is to, you know, figure out another space we can put it. I'm thinking about talking to the guys at Evo and see if we can get it down at the museum, the arcade museum, and then we'll just have like the MBSX at our booth. But people will get to go out there and get hands on and actually play it at the arcade museum for Evo.
Nice.
James has a good technical question for you, Jay, if you have the answer. He says, I think he's saying, how would you patch it? He's not familiar with a SIM card or online. Like, is there maybe USB-C? Does it have USB-C?
Yep. That's how you patch it.
I see. That makes sense.
Hey, Jay.
Or somebody
Jay.
could hack it. Not that you approve of that.
Hey, Jay, I got a quick question. I'm not that familiar with Unico. Can you give me your 30-second elevator pitch on this product?
It's great.
We started out very long ago with S&K. We were white labeling for them. We did the Mini, and then we did the Arcade Stick Pro, and then we approached them to be licensed, and we did our Fun R1. That kind of we didn't have the exposure we wanted for it, and then we took the bold step to go ahead and step into the 3/4 and did the MVSX, and now we've kind of pivoted to more standard size arcade and arcade fare, like accessories, things like that are going to be coming out. We think that's the next step. I'm not going to say 3/4 is dead, but I think a lot of people want something that's almost near to the same size, but doesn't take up the depth. You know, You don't need that depth. So you're going to have more space. Like, honestly, you could put 2 of our new Nova Blasts, which are basically based on the Astro City. You could put 2 of those in the space of one Astro City, almost. And 19K Fox can vouch for that.
You're talking about from the depth point of view?
Yeah.
Depth and width, honestly.
Oh, okay.
So, Jay, another thing that a lot of people are going to be looking at, obviously, it's out in the ether now that Unico's been working with John D. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your relationship with John and kind of what you guys have been doing? I think John has been doing some retail stuff, he tells me, but then again, that's John. I don't know.
What I heard is he's kicked all of us out of the Illuminati.
We're all gone, yeah.
And he's created a new Illuminati.
Yeah.
But it's only people that work in the industry. And Jay's
It's
like
almost
in
like
the
he's trying to
Illuminati
run a
now.
business this
Is
time.
that right, Jay? Are you in the
The
Illuminati?
Alliance? Is that what it is?
No, it's not like that. But
Okay.
you know, he's doing licensing for us because that's what he is. He's a licensing guru. We're willing to help him in any way that we can because if he's going to be our licensing guy, then we've got to be a partner to him, just like we are a partner with all of the new indie developers we're bringing in right now for our Versus system. I mean, we've got Retrotainment at IAPA. We showed off their haunted Halloween game and stuff like that. Any way we can support anybody who's giving us licensing and vice versa, it's great for both of us. I mean, why should we be enemies? There's no reason to be enemies and fight when there's a big enough pie out there for everybody.
You sure? You're working with John D. He's usually not good at sharing his pie.
No, I mean, after
That's just a
meeting,
joke.
we squashed everything that we had going on back in the day when we were competing.
Yeah.
And, I consider him a good friend now.
It means a lot, Jay, to hear that, because all of us. Anyway, so Jay's got a loud cell phone or something.
No,
It means a lot to hear that
trouble.
because a lot of us have been in this community for up to 5 years or so, and we've seen so much drama. And there was a big piece of drama that came out, I remember, between you and John D. And at that time, we were like, oh, those guys are never going to get along. I mean, a lot of the community were familiar with it. It caused a lot of, and to hear like you consider him a close friend now, like,
Well,
it's really cool.
It was one of those things. He heard one thing, and there was some drama about that piece. And the thing about it, as soon as we found out what this one person was doing, saying, and everything else, we immediately let him go. It was like, boom, you're gone, dude. You're not associate. You are a consultant, and don't ever say that you represent us or you're part of us, because you're not. You're a consultant. You're not an employee. You're not anything. Mm-hmm. And now you're nothing to us. And then, basically once I thought about reaching out to him a couple times after the drama happened, and it just, I guess you could call it pride and his pride too. Neither of us reached out to each other. And then when all the drama happened with, the explosion at Arcade 1-Up, I thought to myself, yeah, let's squash this. I reached out to him. We started talking. It was like, I told him the whole story, of what really happened and everything else. We're like, okay, we're good to go. He goes, I understand now. I get it. And, and then the first time we ever met was IAPA, and it was like immediate boom. I like his ideas. He likes my ideas. We kind of throw it around in the head, and it's cool because I don't feel like there's this major competition anymore. It's like I think we can do some great things for the community. I think we can take this in a completely different direction than arcades have ever been.
I think it's passion. That's what kind of bleeds through, so it's an exciting time. I'm glad you're going to be there. Yep. Is John going to be there, Justin? I don't know. He hasn't confirmed that, has he?
Yeah, yes, he's getting a hotel room. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's news to me. It's weird.
It's news to you. See, this is I don't know, weird cloak and dagger stuff that creates these rumors about the Illuminati, and we're trying to keep that very secret.
No, we're not. We're trying to maintain the secrecy. We want everything shrouded in secrecy.
Yeah. So obviously, Media 1-Up's going to be there. Unico's going to be there, and now Unico, you let something out on Fox's show there the other night talking about large-scale arcades and not the Unico Nova Blast. That caught the attention of a lot of people because that's one of the areas, I know me specifically, once Arcade 1-Up started doing those XL cabs, I was like, I want these to be bigger. And there's a severe lack of that in the community right now. So is there a possibility, you kind of already said it, that there are bigger cabs coming?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be roughly 62 to 67 inches tall. No riser required. And of course, there's going to be a little bit more width. The depth's not going to be there. So, I mean, but it's going to be enough. It's not going to look weird if you're standing next to it or something like that.
Yeah.
And of course, one thing we don't like, but we have no choice with this, we're going to have to go flat pack. We've got no choice on this one. Because if we did it like we did the MVSX and had the bar top and then you had to put it on the base, shipping would be astronomical. I mean, it's already bad enough with the glass being made out of steel.
He said astronomical. Is that a hint?
Is that a clue? Is that a hint?
No.
Everybody's looking to pick every statement apart, Jay. We want to know everything. So it's just welcome to the world.
How big's the marquee?
Actually, width and stuff, I don't know. We just did the first idea of it, and we're getting ready to make our first sample.
So for everybody watching, I just stepped away to measure my Golden Tee XL to get just to kind of frame a reference. It's 65 3/4 inches tall, so it's not even quite 66 inches. You're talking about what, 68? That you said
67. It's 72 to 77. I don't even know why I said 62.
Oh,
72. Right. So that's an important distinction.
Wait, go measure your Neo Geo behind you.
I'll be right back. We're doing it live.
We're doing it live.
Now, Carl, like the last time I saw you really buy an arcade was the Arcade 1-Up Pro Killer Instinct. Would you be interested in a large scale cab coming from another company?
It's all the licensing companies are calling Jay right now. Like, we want it. A big machine. Do a Robotron.
All my cabinets, the Pro is a great size. It's a great size, is a great weight. I like everything about it. If it was heavier, like Glenn's is going to be much heavier than the Pro. His full size thing. I wish you could get it around that same weight as this thing here, but I understand.
Well, we're going to be doing like we've always done. It's going to be made out of melamine. It's not going to be made out of a fiber board. And Justin can attest to the fact that it is made out of melamine. It's made out of quality wood. So I mean, we're always going to stick with the quality. It's never going to be cheap fiber board or anything like that.
You're talking about you're talking about the quality of the MVSX.
Right.
Applied to this. Yeah. So Fox, how tall?
78 inches for a stock. Now I have casters that it's elevated slightly, so I've got 78 inches from the floor to the top of my legit official Big Red.
So it sounds like
cricket?
They're making a Big Red.
or
77 inches.
There's only two cabinets I can think of that are like
72 to 77, guys. That's the butter zone we're going for.
Yeah.
There's another cab that's really tall like that, and it's got a really big marquee.
Is it a different? Is it the same color?
It's not the same color. It's
so it's not red
color.
Are they only going to focus on making arcades that have the title have the word "big" in them? So they make a big red.
You're only going to make
big
cabs
purple.
with big in the name.
Big purple.
Big purple.
What does she call it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Jay. Here's the real question. Everyone wants to know, what's the cricket noise that we keep hearing?
Is that a text message?
He's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I think it's Carl. I don't think it's Jay at all. It's not
Is
Carl.
Carl messing with us?
No, I think it's Jay because his audio goes like that around the circle.
Oh, okay.
Whenever it happens. Are you there with us, Jay? You mute?
He's on the cricket call right now.
I got it.
He's on cricket mobile.
He's got a call. No, so yeah, I mean, I think the perfect vehicle for that 26 inches of full size cab for sure. Looks like 77 inches is right on the money.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I lost it for a second. I had the CEO hitting me up. So it's like,
no worries.
He's like,
That's
zip
the
it,
bird. He's like, stop talking.
No, he's fine with it. I mean, but he didn't know I was in an interview, so it was like, I just dropped out there saying, "I'm in an interview. I will call you later."
Hey, Jay, are you with Cricket Mobile by chance?
We're hearing sounds in the background, like birds chirping, crickets, and all that.
Well, I'm at the arcade, so that could be.
That might be part of it. Yeah.
All right. So
Wait
Jay,
a minute. You
just let us
actually
know.
play arcade games? Companies aren't supposed to do that. Like, if you see
You
the other
don't
home arcade
understand,
companies, they're
Mike.
watching Sex in the City.
No,
I'd make you jealous. I own about 102 and have about another 60 in the back that I need to
Holy
fix.
shit.
And,
Nice.
Fox can attest to it.
I was at the old arcade. There's a whole new thing going on. I ain't even been there yet.
I have one more
Yes.
question for you, Jay.
Okay.
So this new cabinet that's coming out, it's going to be like bigger. What
Right.
is it?
Good try, Justin. Good try.
I'd have a try.
Is there a possibility that you mentioned on Fox Show that we might get some hint of it in the near future? Maybe at like an event you're attending or something, Jay?
Probably Evo.
Oh,
Right now,
well, I know what it is now.
we'll probably announce it a little bit earlier before that. But the thing about it is we're waiting on the term sheet. Everything else is pretty much right in a row. But until we sign that term sheet, we can't really discuss anything.
Jason's got it figured out. It's bad dudes.
It's got to be bad dudes.
It's bad dudes.
I did want to say a huge thank you, Jay. I'm 100% serious about this. I know that a couple of weeks ago, like there was a miscommunication with your website. Something happened with the Shopify app where they weren't applying the shipping issue, and all of a sudden shipping jumped up to like $450 to Fox in Kentucky. But one thing I noticed, and like I've been holding off right now because I don't know what I'm going to get next. I'm kind of full. But I've been looking at the Nova Blast. I'm not a huge Candy Cab fan, but obviously I love what you guys did there. I love the art style. And like there's just no competing with that giant 26-inch screen. It's amazing. So I've been keeping my eye on the Nova Blast. It's going to be about $2,000 Canadian. But then I also noticed that you guys have a special Canadian shipping cost in there as well. And I really appreciate that. It's one of my favorite things Unico's always done, whether it be I bought the Unico Riser, also had special Canadian shipping. So thank you so much for doing that. There's too many companies that just have no idea how expensive it gets for us, the consumer, to try to get some of these items in Canada. So thank you so much for doing that.
I mean, and the thing about it too is like a lot of people don't realize on some aspects we take a little bit of a loss. On the shipping end, you know, and of course it's because we think about the end consumer. You're already paying a premium price for a premium product. But then who wants to have to pay that? So it's like when the rumors started coming out where they raised it to $400 because, you know, this, that, the other. And all of a sudden I was like, what the hell is going on? Well, an update had come on Shopify and it cleared out all of the countries we had set up with different shipping and set it back to defaults. So all of a sudden everybody was like 400, 450. And it was like tooth and nail to figure out with Shopify what the issue was, what the update was that they did that screwed everything up. And then we realized, oh, this is an easy fix. We can spend 2 hours here fixing this and we're good to go. And so pricing went back down. And I do apologize that it was that way for a little bit. But, you know, things happen. I mean, especially when it's not your web store, you're not in control in an aspect because you have a developer doing something. And I mean,
might have been a back end issue with a DNS server. Who knows?
I was waiting for it. Hey, so Jay, being that you got all these great deals on shipping to Canada, this new cabinet that comes out that's really big, maybe you got to ship it to Michael B as a review unit, huh?
Oh, Nostalgia.
What?
Nostalgia can't handle a big cabinet. He just needs
That's a
more
good point.
pocket things.
No. Enough of that. I'm excited to see.
I'm just trying to make Michael B feel uncomfortable.
Shipping money for Michael B's Nova Blast review. James, you're going to ruin my GoFundMe.
Yeah, James, don't give the money here. YouTube takes 30% cut.
Mike, if you buy Nova Blast, I will send you an original arcade PCB.
Nice.
100%.
Is it a good one?
Yeah, I'll give you one of my Capcom CPS2 games.
Ooh. I'm thinking about it. I'm not lying.
Yeah.
What if I buy a Unico? What would you give me?
will congratulate you for buying it. Mike is he's on an island, Justin. He needs help. He's stranded. It's basically Lost, but in real time.
I think
that's fine.
IAPA really showed us that we had a good product, and we had a lot of people that were really interested setting down. We're really impressed with the 1440 by 1080 monitor and all that. And I mean, that's going to be coming out to the consumer probably Q3 of 2025, you know, because we made it for the Nova Blast. So it would be kind of a shame to put it out there right now.
Yeah.
It was exclusively made for that. The 30-inch is probably going to be 1600 by 1200. Could be 1920 by 1040. We're not sure on which resolution we're going to go with because, you know, once again, it's custom cutting of LCD panels. We got to figure out what's going to be the best, the pixel count, everything like that.
Yeah, could you describe that more? I've only heard that from you. Like, so there's what is a panel and how do you cut them?
How do you make it? Exactly.
Yeah, I don't understand this.
There's a lot of, you know, I don't know all the lingo on it even myself, but there's a lot of tooling involved because you have to get your measurements right. Because if you cut the panel wrong and you cut a pixel off, then you throw the whole scheme of things with your pixel count and everything else off. Because, you know, of course, you need a pixel. So there's a lot of tooling, a lot of measuring, a lot of lasers, cameras, everything else involved with that. It was not even cheap to do this. I mean, we're probably at this point $300K into tooling and development and stuff like that.
Carl, don't leave us, Carl. We love you. We
No,
love your
don't
pajamas.
go.
I got to rock, guys.
Thanks,
Hey.
Detroit Love.
It was good seeing you guys. Jay, nice meeting you finally. And before I go, what's going to happen in CES?
Yeah.
We're going to be showing off some of the other things we're doing, not only us, but a partner that we manufacture for. We're going to be showing some things off of there.
Oh,
I have fun, gentlemen.
the plot thickens.
All right, enjoy round 3.
All right, Jay. So let's say you have a piece of glass, right? And it's 16 by 9 and it's got way too many pixels. And
Right.
you want to cut it to 4 by 3. You would take that glass, right, and lasers and get it perfectly. But you're doing that with monitors?
Yep.
Like not like you're
Yeah,
cutting
what size
in.
monitor? Yeah.
Usually, like for the 26-inch, we try to get like about a 55 to a 60-inch to be able to at least get 2 out of it with a little bit of waste. Very little.
This is like buying drywall, right?
No,
You're like,
isn't it crazy?
yeah,
It's
you're like,
crazy.
I'm gonna buy a really big 8-foot piece of drywall and cut it in half so I can do this. But you're doing it with like TV monitors, like you're getting like a really nice TV monitor, like a monitor that would go into like a 55-inch LG TV or something.
Yeah, right around that quality, except it's medical grade.
Okay.
So it's sturdier. And then you have to, like the control board that actually controls the LCD, that all has to be modified to handle what's going on. Then we've got our converter board. There's been a lot of development. That's what I'm saying. We're about 300K into this.
Well, and Jay, could you talk about the first iteration of that control board that was maybe lacking in a few ways, and the new iteration of your new panel where you actually have the potentiometer for the color right on that control board?
Right. Well, when it first came out and we realized the issue was, we put out there the fact of I believe it was 330 ohm at a half watt.
The resistors, yeah.
Resistors. And so we said, well, next step is to go build a board with the potentiometers, work on the resizing, work on the picture movement, work on color control when it was in VGA or HDMI. I mean, like you'll notice now, when you hook up an RGB, it actually tells you that you got an RGB signal hooked up to it. And for HDMI, it tells you HDMI.
It's much more intuitive, yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that I did notice that was a flaw, but I didn't catch it, was the fact that it's not auto syncing to whatever signal it is, and you have to hit the auto button to get it to do it. The next iteration will fix that. We'll get the auto sync back.
My only complaint was some of the white balance on only some games. So, for example, I have Outrun 2, and the white balance seems to be a little bit off because it will sort of wash out some of the images or some of the scenes within the game. But like Crazy Taxi, I don't seem to have that same sort of issue. It could just be game specific. I'm not exactly sure. But I was able to really adjust those color potentiometers on Crazy Taxi to get that thing just looking great.
Right. I mean, with that, the thing about it is every signal is just a little bit tweaked. I mean, you look at the Nintendo inverse signal. I mean, we're working on that, but it's one of those things that, like, we just found out that Mario Kart GP has a little bit issue on like the left corner. It doesn't show part of the picture, and that's because of the signal that's being sent. Well, then we have to go out, we have to buy that, hook it up, figure out what kind of signal it's sending with different tools, and then put that into the programming of the monitor. So we're going to keep on doing that. We're going to keep on making the monitor better and better and better.
Yeah.
I mean, like we figured out that when we were doing the Nova Blast, there were certain 15 kilohertz that couldn't be detected. So the board on the Nova Blast actually does detect that properly. And that's something we're going to work on for the ordinary board as well.
But all that's just firmware. You can adjust.
Yeah. Yep.
It's cool.
Well,
And I'm sorry, Mike, go ahead.
well, Fox, you never get a chance to talk to Unico, so you go ahead.
I wanted to do a little bit of a plug of a tease. Jay, you and I plugged. I mean, we teased this a while back, and maybe I don't know if it's dead or if it's upcoming. but we were talking about a 30 or 31-inch iteration of your Phoenix monitor. Is that still on the roadmap? Is that coming, or is that sort of tabled for now?
The 30 inches is either going to be 1600 by 1200, or it'll be like, I believe, I don't remember the exact. I know it's not 1920. I think it's like 1924 or 19, whatever that exact is for 4.3 by 1040.
Gotcha.
Will be the resolution. We're probably going to stick with probably 1600 by 1200 is what I.
And is that something coming in maybe 26? Is it on the roadmap, or is it sort of tabled for now?
I want to have it out by Q2, Q3.
Okay. Okay. Of this year. Okay. Or 25. Yeah.
So, like, just personally, I think that the Phoenix Monitor series is like one of the smartest things that you guys have done, because it's really future-proofing the home arcade hobby. Right now, they're not making CRTs anymore. Once the old new stock are gone, where are these companies going to turn for monitors for these arcades? And I'm so sick of going to arcades and seeing someone do the cool toy mod and put like that 16:9 screen in the classic arcade. So I'm so excited to see.
Doesn't work.
Right? Yeah.
This is one of the biggest things for me. I mean, I've been in and out of the arcade game since 2010. Got my own arcade in 2012, and it was very frustrating. I mean, you spend $250, $300 to buy a CRT. It fails, then you send the chassis off, spend another $180, $200 on that, or you do the chassis yourself and you get frustrated because you did something wrong. Then you got a messed up circuit board. Then you got to go out and try to source another one. It's an ever-ending nightmare. And then you walk into some of these other arcades and you see a 16:9 in the Cruising USA.
And it's disgusting. Disgusting.
I mean, if it's the modern one where it's got the big old 42-inch TV, that's great. Fine. Do it that way. I got no problems with it. But if it was meant to have a 4.3 monitor in it, that's what needs to be in it. And that's been my dream since 2012. I tried in, 2022. We tried to do a Razor. And then I went back to my boss and I was like, look, in 2023. And I said, look, yeah, I know it failed. But you did notice that we got close to about 800 orders. So let's go ahead and really try it. And so we went out for the 26. There was expense involved in it and everything else, but we know that.
Then you did the second thing, right? You made a product that required it.
Right.
The Nova Blast, right? You're like,
there you go.
I apologize, guys. We're at the 2-hour mark. I am going to have to clue this up. And, Jay, thank you so much for agreeing to come on. It's so late in the game and stuff. One thing I do want to ask you for, I'm a big fan of GRS Glenn. I'm really excited about his new product coming up too. And one thing that breaks my heart, obviously, is the conversation about him having the Unico monitor and it fell apart. I know there's two different sides to that story. You were kind enough to send me an email and explain it and stuff like that. Please try to convince Glenn to come back to the table and add that, because it's not going to be the same without your monitor in it. So whatever you can do.
It really wasn't that thing. It was like a conversation started with me.
Yeah.
And then it fizzled, and I reached back to him. I didn't really hear anything, and then all of a sudden we find out that GRS is trying to backdoor through one of our agents, and it's like, that's not cool. That's not cool at all. Don't try to backdoor me when I came with my hand out to help you.
Can we all just agree it was 19K Fox's fault?
Yeah, 100%.
I take full blame.
I'm willing to do it for Glenn. We can talk. He can email me. We can talk. We can discuss. We can come up with a figure that works for him, works for us, and we're always willing to help anybody in this game. I mean, like I said, this is not a competition. There's enough room out there for everyone, except for the ones that want to come in and try to do the scams they do and things like that. I mean, I hate that about this community too, the ones that pull the scams like they do. But
the scams? What scams?
We're all thinking
things like GoFundMe, stuff like that. Scams.
Here's the thing.
I'll remind you, Jay.
I'm willing to help him anyway.
You didn't get along very well with John D several years ago, but now you guys are close friends.
Yep.
You can do this with what's his name again?
I don't even have a beef. I don't even have a beef with Glenn. I didn't have a beef with him backdooring, but it was like, we're not going to play that way.
Maybe it's a misunderstanding.
Yeah,
I think it was. I think it was, and that's why I said I don't have a beef with them. It really wasn't a beef. It's just like come direct, we'll work it out.
I
And
think
Glenn want to.
I think what happened was obviously backdooring. I think his backdoor talked to your backdoor, and that's what happened. Yeah.
Nostalgia got involved somewhere.
Nostalgia,
Here, right?
It's always
nostalgia is always involved in the back door. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, it was one of those things where it happened that way, and it was like, we were both on both sides were like, this is a no go. It doesn't work that way, And so if Glenn really wants the monitor, I mean, he can contact me. I have no beef with him. No beef whatsoever. If I had a beef, I'd be on every show, razzing, talking crap, and everything else.
But that's a potential big order, right?
Email you, Mike. There was no animosity, no hate in that deal. I even said at the bottom, I'm willing to work with Glenn in any way or any form. And let's say tomorrow another company came out, or like Global VR came to us. I'd love to provide them with monitors for their old stuff. Any repair service like Sega, anybody that wants our monitor to be able to make something that looks the way it should, we're willing to work with them.
Mm-hmm. And there's a ton of shops out there that are, they're in this pickle, they're in this position, and there's it's like a barrier of entry for some people getting into real arcades. They don't want to mess or worry about that CRT.
That's right. For sure.
It's one of the things that like right now I'm looking at building my own Robotron, and that's one thing that is not a consideration for me anymore. I don't have to worry about it. I'm just going to order a Unico monitor. Like not for Robotron. Well, it depends, because that's a 19-inch monitor.
So for Buy Stuff Arcade, we're doing the one for their Sprint. They're using our monitors. It's no different. I mean, I'm willing to help anybody in this community, help any repair shop, anything like that. Just come direct. You know what I mean?
James, we'll pull up his post, will you? It's James hates everything. He loves everybody, actually. Glenn's got buttons. Everybody. Jay's got monitors. Seems like some mutual beneficial arrangements.
Damn right, buddy.
Come on.
For sure. An offer he can't refuse.
Yep. I hope you guys reconnect, because I think, like, for me, like, I was so excited Glenn was going to be using a 26-inch monitor, and I immediately thought of you guys. I was like, oh, he's using the Unico monitor.
Tell you what, I'll reach back out to him again, and I'll try. I mean, but it's really up to him if he wants to come to the table, and we can work something out for sure.
I appreciate it. Do it for the old Mikester.
And I think doing it for the old Mikester, consider, and maybe this comes up in the conversation, I don't know, but maybe Glenn could have an option for customers to option up. Okay, 19 inches standard, but if you want to get crazy and option up to the 26,
you're gonna get our new 19-inch probably next week.
And that's
you got a new 19-inch. Now we're talking, because now we're back talking about Robotron again.
Super crisp, clear viewing angles, everything. It's got the new control board on it, so I mean,
I can't wait to put it through spaces. It's gonna be awesome.
It's beautiful. Everybody that saw it at IOPA loved it.
I've got an old Road Blasters I'm going to mock it up in. I want to try that out.
So have you guys formulated a plan, like obviously what you're doing right now, but is there any plan in place to, try to get around to some of these arcades across the ecosphere, some place where you can go and tell people about these monitors? Is that part of the plan with the Phoenix series?
Well, we've already got one arcade in Kansas City that has probably 6 of them in the arcade, and it's got like a little piece of paper saying provided by Unico and things like that. So, and we've got a Nova Blast at that one. It's actually got our prototype, the one that had the DB15. It's actually at an arcade here in Kansas City, Kincaid.
Is that coin opt or free play?
Free play.
Okay.
So like at Kincaid, they're already there. So.
Oh, James looks like he's been there.
Yep. James has been there.
James has been there. And then I think you have some people out there, I don't know who they are, but they're putting bugs in people's ears, YouTubers, different manufacturers. I don't know who this guy is, but he's doing some stuff.
Oh, let me tell you, if you are interested in growing the Unico business in India, you have picked quite the person with 19K5.
I am your guy.
He is so big in India.
Yep.
I think this is a solution that is long been in development. It's something people are waiting to transfer to, and I think once people come to grips with the fact that you're not going to have a CRT for everything, this is a great option.
I agree. I mean, there's a lot of things we can do, and there's a lot of things we want to do, and we want to help the community. We want to help other brands kind of mutually do an alliance, things like that, where I don't know how to say it any other way, but tit for tat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You rub my back, I rub your back, kind of thing. I scratch your back, you scratch my back, and to me, that's going to make it a lot better. And there's going to be a lot of great things that are going to come out of it versus this huge competition, everybody fighting for everything. I don't know.
It's not going to work. Like, the reality is, like, the concept of like mass market, like what Arcade 1-Up still tries to go for, I just don't think it's ever going to be there in like the arcade hobby. I think there's a very very big necessity. I think there's a very big market that you can appeal to, but it's this market. And when you guys aren't, working together or trying to make this work, and you're being competitive and stuff like that, the only people who suffer are the community. So the fact that these companies are working together, that's a great thing, because that means we're going to get more shit. And hopefully, if we're getting more shit, we're going to be excited about it. We're going to buy more, and you guys are all going to win too.
Win, win, win.
Win.
It's a triple win.
I mean, there's no reason. There's no reason to fight. I mean, it is what it is, and at the end of the day, the more that we work together, the better it's going to be.
Now, there's one agreement though. There's one company we can't work with. My Arcade. We got to take those fuckers
You son
down.
of a bitch. How dare you? I'm trying to make inroads, trying to build bridges. You
19K Fox review on it is like, this is great. It's not plasticky at all.
It's not like the worst thing.
Yeah. So Jay's got a soundboard. MG says, if anybody's ever seen Nightmare on Elm Street, it's like Johnny Depp pretending he's not at a sleepover. Yeah, I'm just here at the airport. You hear the cursor. Anyways, Jay, thank you so much for coming on. And guys, thank you for filling in where we didn't have Super Game Room dudes tonight. We're at 2 hours and 10 minutes. I can't go anymore. This is the longest I've ever gone. No, it's not, but it's getting there.
All right, everyone in the chat, give us ones and likes if this is the best Ultra Game Room Dudes podcast ever.
Super, ultra,
I mean,
mega.
it's the only second one, right?
It's the second one.
We even got a guest.
Second episode, period.
We got Jay from Unico. We had P-Dubs on shilling stuff. This has been great.
Good times.
All right, guys, everybody, have a wonderful night. Have a Merry Christmas. If we don't see you before then, I'm going to be alive Monday night, so I'll see you again. Have a wonderful weekend. Be safe shopping, and we'll see you next time on the Ultra Game Room Dudes.
Ultra!
Take it easy, guys.
So, Fox, seriously, how did you frame Luigi anyways? Like, how did you get out of that mess?
It's simple. All you got to do, you just tempt them with lasagna, with pizza. These Italians, they're simple people. They are. It's sad, really. Why would I tell you how I did it? Why would I tell you how I did